do you say we kick off the week in college football? Tuesday night action. Antonio Nunn, one of the top wideouts you'll see anywhere in college football. The Bulls of Buffalo, they're loaded offensively. Kyle Van Treese has been slinging the rock all over. And in the backfield, Jaret Patterson, he is one of the top running backs in all of college football, along with his running mate Kevin Marks, as the Bulls of Buffalo invade Deutsch Perry Stadium here in Northwest Ohio. We're about 25 miles south of Toledo. It's Tuesday night action. 2-0 Buffalo, 0-2 Bowling Green, looking for their first win of the season. Great to see you and be with you alongside former Notre Dame and Florida quarterback Malik Zaire. My name is Ben Holden. Malik, let's talk about this one, the matchup. What are you taking away from this one as we get close to kickoff?
This is a true definition of David versus Goliath. You got a Bowling Green team that's going through a reconstruction and rebuilding phase, where on the other side you got Buffalo, who's been very dominant, not only these last two games, but they're a dominant team within the map.
Yeah, they're one of the best in the group of five. I mean, let's be honest, there's 21 undefeated teams in college football, and they are one of them. And for the Bulls, a well-oiled machine. Jaret Patterson has combined in the backfield with Kevin Marks over 5,000 yards rushing. What Jaret Patterson did last year against Bowling Green is ridiculous.
I guarantee you, Benny, he circled this game on the calendar for sure. He eats well, but we have to talk about the dynamic running game with Kevin Marks and Jaret Patterson. Kevin Marks is a wild man. He's going to give you a lot of head fakes, arm shakes, and he's aggressive. You don't know whether he's going to run past you or run you over. And then you got Jaret Patterson, nifty. He's the all-around back. He's hard to tackle. He has great footwork between spaces. And I'm not going to say he's Barry Sanders, but you're going to check out his footwork in this game.
Yeah, he looks a lot like Barry Sanders. Matt McDonald, who's known head coach Scott Loeffler for probably 6 years or so in that range. He was recruited by Loeffler when he was the OC at Boston College. What are your thoughts on him?
Oh, man, Matt McDonald is in a tough spot as a quarterback. A lot of things around him aren't going well. Not only is his team young, this is his third game starting. So for him, it's all about progression. Can he get better than the week before?
All right, and Scott Loeffler in his second year is hoping that his defense can get better. As you see there, it's dead last in the country in all the key areas. This program, this team, this head coach, they are focused, though, on rebuilding this thing the right way, something we'll talk about throughout the night. And for Buffalo, Lance Leipold, now in his 6th season, he's done some great things with their program. He's had them in bowl games. He's won bowl games, competing for the MAC championship every single season in the East. The protocol here at Deutsch Perry Stadium, 1,500 spectators. It's capped at that. Temperature checks, social distancing. Each player on each team gets 4 tickets. The band, the cheer teams, and the dance teams, they all get 2. So that's the situation as we are just about set for action here from Bowling Green, Ohio. Bowling Green, they will kick it away to begin the game, and they are without their kickoff man tonight. They're without Mason Lawler, ruled unavailable for the game, so Nate Needham, their place kicker, will handle the place kicking duties. And Tuesday night action's underway between Bowling Green and Buffalo. Fielded by Kevin Marks on the return, and Marks gets it out over the 25, and the Falcons all over the return man Marks there. And that's something we'll watch tonight, Malik, is certainly the body language and the energy of Bowling Green. Kyle Van Treese, that's what he did last week against Miami. What have you seen from him on tape?
Kyle Van Treese exploded. What I love about him is his ability to throw versus the one-on-one coverage when the run game is being super effective. They got Trevor Wilson out there, Antonio Nunn going on those one-on-one deep shots, and he's been able to complete them. I love his command of the offense. And look, 350 yards and 4 touchdowns. Man, he's really expanding this whole Buffalo offense.
Well, when they met last year, he was 10 for 14 for 131, but the story, as we showed you, of that game was Jaret Patterson, almost 300 yards, and Patterson lined up behind him, and they feed Jaret Patterson right off the get-go. And Patterson able to pick up about 3 on the run there for the Bulls. Product of the state of Maryland. The stop was made by Jerry Roberts. The starters off the bottom of the screen as Buffalo goes fast here.
Buffalo definitely gives the change of pace by using this fast style of offense. Defenses have to line up quick, and usually when defenses line up quick, they're going to base calls, things that they can get right away.
So on 2nd and 7, they seem to go fast, but slowed it down. Patterson left side with it, cuts back inside. There's that shifty and nifty right there you see from Patterson. You talked about it. It's a first down for Buffalo. And we'll see the starters for Bowling Green on the bottom of your screen. And who's a highlight guy we should watch tonight for them, Malik?
I really like Roland Walder, just because his ability to play off that edge and give this defense a chance to keep the containment of this running game that's going to be very effective tonight.
He's a transfer from Kentucky, 11 tackles in 2 games so far for Walder. So a fresh set of downs here for the Bulls. Patterson remains the back. Pressure coming. They hand it off to Patterson, though, and he slips to the right, and he's able to get a good pickup there. Almost 6 on the run for Jaret Patterson. Over 3,000 yards in his career last week. The stop was made by Jordan Murphy. He is just a machine.
What I really love about Jaret Patterson is his ability to hide behind that tough offensive line, and it makes hard for the defensive linemen, not only linemen, but the linebackers to find those gaps that he's in. And once he gets in there, he has such quick feet to make you miss in its short space. I mean, this guy is unbelievably talented, and it's going to be a long day for Buffalo if they don't find an answer for him. Product
of Glendale, Maryland. He came into this one 81 yards from 3rd all-time in Buffalo history in rushing yardage, 118 from 2nd. That is caught by Antonio Nunn. It'll be a first down for Buffalo as a fastball delivered there from Vantrease.
Vantrease making it look easy, just a nice pitch and catch. The corner's playing far off because they're threatened by Antonio's speed and his ball-making ability. The way he high points the football in the air is very dangerous, so they're not going to press up on him like they usually would. They can live with a 5-yard completion as long as they make the tackle and they continue to drive.
He is a senior out of Tampa, Florida, came in averaging close to 22 yards a catch. Over 100 in both games for him. Back to the air, Vantrease. Open target right on cue. It's Nunn. Antonio Nunn inside of the 30. Broke a tackle, and Nunn is down close to the 20-yard line. First down as Cedric Mitchell made the tackle.
This is nice and easy by Vantrease. It's a rhythm throw. This is what their offense does very well in the pass game. They run a lot of spot routes, a lot of curl routes, so you can get a 5-point read. He can read the whole field and find his favorite target, Antonio, for the open play.
Pickup of 27. Back to the ground they go. It's Patterson. And they clog him up there. The defensive front for Bowling Green did. That is not easy to do. He is just got all the moves and can do everything, does Patterson. Colby Coleman in there, one of their leaders on the stop.
Colby Coleman is going to have a hard day today, being able to communicate with everybody on the defense. And on offensive side, it's going to be the same thing. We're missing so many coaches that play a big factor in the communication piece that goes into every football game.
Bowling Green is without 5 coaches tonight, including their defensive coordinator, Brian Van Gorder. They're all in COVID protocol as Patterson busts up the middle, and Jaret Patterson and Buffalo strike first. It didn't take him long. His 7th touchdown against Bowling Green in the last 2 meetings.
Buffalo making it look easy. I really love the fact that they had these motions that come across. You see the tight end kick out, and then Jaret does what he does best, find the hole and be explosive. He's not a guy that you're going to bring down with an arm tackle. You're going to have to put some bodies on him if you want to bring him down. But you see the completeness of this offense. They was able to throw, run, whatever they want, because this Buffalo team is something dangerous.
They are complete. 17-yard touchdown run. They bring on Alex McNulty here to try to make it a 7-0 game. Snap, good hold, and that one is true. So the Bulls did not take them long. 7 plays, 74 yards coming right into your living room. Took 3:24 as Jaret Patterson and the Bulls out to a 7-0 lead. Early on here in the opening quarter, Lance Leipold in Buffalo after a 7-play, 74-yard drive, make it 7-0. Blake, keys to the game, what do you got?
Well, Buffalo has to come out and be the bully. It's no secret that they're the dominant team in this game, so they have to start fast like they did, 7 plays, and they got a touchdown out of it. That's what we expect. For Bowling Green, you got to throw out the numbers on this one, Benny. I don't expect them to look at the stats or the scoreboard as much. I want to see body language. I want to see how they react to these drives where Buffalo's going to put up points. I want to see how they respond on the other side on offense to see if they can put up points. So there's a lot going on with Bowling Green, but I think that with the body language language is going to prove that week-to-week difference that they need to rebuild to make this team great.
Yeah, and you brought that up with Scott Loeffler yesterday when we talked. He said, absolutely. He said, look, it's all about the way we play. I mean, at some point, I think we'll see Terrion Stewart, their running back in this game. He's a guy that last week, I mean, they're down 62-17, and he didn't quit.
Didn't quit, and you can't. You know, you definitely can't do that before. A young guy to show that resiliency is going to be important moving on in the future.
Here is Bryson Denley. He's a hybrid, can do a lot of different things, and he's a player, Malik, that is going to have to contribute for them tonight.
Bryson Denley's going to have to be all over the field tonight. Special teams on the offensive side of the ball, playing some running back and in the slot. You know, a lot of these guys got both-way abilities. So for them to be able to play multiple positions adds creativity to an offense that really needs some explosive plays this game.
Well, there is Matt McDonald, the product of Mission Viejo, California. Newport Beach area. This weather's right up his alley, right? He's ready to go, making his third career start, and on the ground there is Andrew Clare with a football. Clare, who's been often injured in his career here at Bowling Green, picks up 21. Good start for the Falcons.
This is what you want to see. Andrew Clare coming back, and look at how he's finding the hole. He's patient, and you can tell he's well rested. Look at the burst through, and he's not letting the first guy tackle him. This is the effort you want to see against a dominant Buffalo team.
You're right. He was hurt against Toledo, his shoulder. No carries after the first drive of the third quarter in week one. There is a penalty flag down, and Bowling Green had 10 penalties last week in the first half as Greg Sujak.
Ball start, number 72, offense. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Gives us the word there, and that is Derek Downs, their right tackle.
A lot of times when you're going through a rebuilding phase, especially with a young team like Bowling Green, you want to stop losing before you start winning.
Right.
So you have to eliminate the things that you can control, like these penalties, and hopefully they can curb that issue tonight.
A work in progress, and Scott Loeffler is determined to do this thing the right way. No quick fix. He said it's going to take time, and McDonald does a good job to get a good chunk of that yardage back out to the midfield stripe. He was tackled by James Patterson. Offensively for Bowling Green, you see their starters on the bottom of our screen there. Anybody that really you want to keep your eye on tonight closely?
Man, I got to say Matt McDonald. I think he's the reason for the season. He's going to be the biggest part in stimulating this offense throughout the entire game.
All right, they put it into the breadbasket with a fake now. McDonald rolls near side, fires it. There's a flag down. They're spotting him out of bounds at the 43. It was Julian Ortega-Jones that made the catch. We'll have to check the flag at the 45, though.
Ineligible man downfield, number 77, offense. 5-yard penalty remains, second down.
So another penalty there. Second of the game already here for Bowling Green, not even 5 minutes in.
Not even 5 minutes in, and this is what we're talking about, shooting yourself in the foot. I think the big man was just a little too excited on that play, getting a little far downfield, trying to finish blocks. You know, these guys are all about effort, so I'm not going to be too upset about that penalty. If I'm the coach, I just want him to continue to play hard all game.
2nd and 13. From the gun, McDonald. Pressure from the outside. McDonald stands in, fires, caught at the 45. It was reeled in there by Noah Massey, a youngster there very high on, a redshirt sophomore out of Houston. Gain of 12.
One thing that this Bowling Green offense was so excited about was the fact that Buffalo's not going to give you a variety of different looks. They're going to keep things simple, but they're going to play it hard. So the good thing for Bowling Green is they're going to be able to find and scheme the plays that are going to be necessary to make those first downs and continue those drives, but it's going to require them to make those plays. You know, execution is everything for Bowling Green right now, and let's see if they can continue this on this third down.
They need a yard on the third down. It's Clare. Clare, a little shake and bake, and he's got it. He does look fresh. A couple of carries for him, picked up 3 to move the chains, and the Buffalo defense, you'll see that on the bottom of your screen momentarily. They've got a lot of weapons. Who are the ones that you like the most?
Oh man, can you say everybody?
You can.
I really have a really, I think all of these guys play well together.
This
is one of those teams, especially on defense, where all those jerseys have no name for a reason because they all play with the same intensity and same effort. And I truthfully can't pick out one guy that I particularly like. I like the entire defense and the way they play.
That is Tyrese Woods Jr., a sophomore out of Detroit, Michigan.
There'll also be a media timeout.
Stay 10 to him. We'll step aside and come back to Bowling Green right after this.
College football on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Verizon. The network more people rely on gives you more. By Ram, built to serve. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
This is football in the Midwest. You're an Ohio guy. You're used to this, right?
I'm tasting the winter like I never left. You know, I grew up with it. I got a chance to get away from it, but being back, it's just that Midwest feel is nowhere else like it.
Yep, and there is Tyrese Woods Jr., sophomore out of Martin Luther King High in Detroit on the sideline. 10 to him is Claire. Gets another carry, playing well. He's got 3 in the game. Mentioned he was dinged up in that opening game. They played the Battle of I-75. They played the crossover games in week 1, all conference games, the final 5, just 6 games this year in the MAC. Second and 7 now. McDonald, fastball up high. It is caught, reeled in.
I love how they're coming out on offense. Mac McDonald is throwing strikes, and he's looking confident. He knows where he's going with the football. He must have did a lot of studying in the tape. And like I said, Buffalo's not going to trick you with a lot of different plays. They're going to play you straight up. So you're seeing the guys on offense really compete, and that's what you want to see tonight.
That is redshirt freshman Tyrone Broden out of West Bloomfield, Michigan. Played his high school ball for former Michigan wideout Ron Bellamy. McDonald, and looks like he had a good look there, but Kuntz gets in and applies some heat on him. He had 9 sacks a year ago to lead the MAC.
Kuntz coming off that edge, and look at Matt McDonald. He's staying poised in the pocket, but you know, you got guys coming off the edge that are bound to be great and head towards the next levels. But I mean, look at that, being able to dip under those guys. That's a unique talent to have as a DN, to hit that 45-degree angle to dig under a tackle to make a play.
He's a dynamic guy on the ground once again. On 2nd and 13, this time we see Trayvon Raymore for the first time. We'll see 3 or 4 backs expected to from Bowling Green tonight. And how about that, number 0, you can wear it. Now that is the best number 0 I've seen this year in 9 games of college football, man.
In combination with those glasses, that might have the whole outfit of the week. You know, I really like how D. Lyman is definitely taking up the swag to another level. I mean, I haven't seen some rec specs in a while.
Yep, 3rd and 10 coming up here is Eddie Wilson there, looking on. You see what Bowling Green's done on the drive. 8 plays, 50 yards, a little over 4.5. They need 10 here. Pressure comes, McDonald, and he was feeling the heat and just got rid of that one. 4th down coming up as the pressure was applied by Tyree Thompson.
Buffalo didn't hide what they were going to come and do. They played man and brought the front 4 and those 2 linebackers. And what you see from that is they're going to bring pressure when they need to. Buffalo's not going to sit there and blitz you out of the game. They're going to let you make the mistakes and let you have long drives. So for Bowling Green, it's about execution to the finish. And when you're getting in longer situations, they might bring the pressure here or there, but it's execution for Bowling Green they need.
So here's Nate Needham, his 3rd attempt of the season, trying to get Bowling Green on the board, and he does. Bangs that through from 40. And Bowling Green on the board. Each team with a possession, each team with points. Tuesday night action here in Bowling Green between the Falcons and the Bulls.
Media timeout.
Well, let's now take a look at how some fans are tailgating from home, brought to you by Twisted Tea. And I mean, it's cool here in Northwest Ohio and Bowling Green. It's got to be cool in Buffalo. I ran into one of their staff members out in the hallway, and I said, how's the weather there? He said, we've had snow for about 4 days there. It sounds about right. You can submit a photo of your home tailgate at cbssports.com/Twisted Tea for your chance to win money towards a year's worth of Twisted Tea. A lot of hot tea tonight needed in this venue, as approximately 1,500, no more than 1,500 fans will be allowed inside of Deutsch Perry Stadium. Good to have you with us. Alongside Malik Zaire, my name is Ben Holden. So Needham with a 40-yard field goal before the break. 10 plays, 50 yards. Took a little less than 5 minutes. 4:43 to get Bowling Green their first points in this matchup. Last 2 years they've met, Buffalo has scored north of 40. The Bulls set to get it back here as Needham handling all the kicking, the place kicking and the kickoff duties tonight. This will be Kevin Marks bringing this thing out. Marks, good run back out over the 25, close to the 30-yard line. And let's take a look at the Buffalo running backs and the job they do after a 22-yard return. So last week it was more of the Kevin Marks show, and they fed it to Jarrett Patterson 20 yards. And then in the first game,
Offside, kickers, number 8. 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. 1st and 10.
in that first game it was flipped around as Patterson had the big day, but Patterson's had 20 carries in both games so far.
Yeah, Patterson is the glue of this offense. So, you know, he's the workhorse. He's the one that's going to be able to get the amount of carries needed to get this offense started. Kevin Marks, he's the pop. He's that seasoning. He's the flavor that you add when you want to take up the momentum and the energy of the offense. On top of that, he's going to fall forward in everything that he does. So that's going to give him the benefit of finishing those third down runs that they need to convert.
He's to the right of Kyle Van Treese. They put it into his stomach. He fights his way forward for about 3 on the run, does Kevin Marks, who last season had over 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns. This season comes in with 141, averaging 6.4 per carry.
Now this is an interesting look. Now you're putting both backs in there, and this is what you call dominance. When you have Jarrett Patterson, that's the butter that like before you cook, you got to put the butter in there, and then you add the seasoning with Kevin Marks. It's something that is hard to stop when you got a guy like Kyle Van Treese running the show.
Yeah, and it makes for nightmares for defensive coordinators. Patterson's got it right side, broke a tackle, cuts back in, flag came in. Patterson's got the first down, depending on the flag, as he took the ball close to the 45. They needed the 43 to convert, but we'll have to check the penalty flag first.
Patterson, what a bowling ball.
Yes.
Holding, number 66, offense. 10-yard penalty remains, 2nd down.
It's on the left guard, junior out of Cincinnati, Jacob Gall. Let's look back at the penalty here.
Taking a look back, you can tell it just got a little bit more than he wanted, a little more jersey than he wanted. The defensive player played a good job of getting his head across to make it hard on the offensive line to cut him off. And it's just something you can't do if you want to continue a powerful offense.
Gall, a guy that's worked his way in the offensive line rotation the last couple of years for Buffalo, and offensive coordinator Andy Kotelnicki. Marks to the left of Kyle Van Treese, 2nd and 22 after the penalty. Van Treese taking a shot, flings it far sideline and out of bounds, and unable to connect there with his main man, Antonio Nunn. He was covered by Caleb Biggers.
One thing I learned from Coach Brian Kelly is don't ice the puck. If you got a guy like Antonio Nunn, just throw it up. Just throw it up and give him a chance. He's really good at high pointing the football, making plays in the air. The last thing you want to do is throw it to the cheerleaders instead of giving your guy a chance to make a play.
Andy Kotelnicki there in the gray sweatshirt inside the Buffalo coach's box. So 3rd and 22. Buffalo converting at just a skosh under 41% on 3rd down this season.
You don't really see too often Buffalo playing behind the sticks like this.
Yeah.
And it just shows you where these penalties can really affect the momentum of a drive.
Play clock under 5. They get the snap off. And a good run by Marks. Gets them a little bit of breathing room, but it's going to bring up 4th down as the stop was made there by one of their defensive linemen, Rodell Rockman.
Now this is encouraging, you know, coming off a drive where they made it look, Buffalo made it look easy, and now this next drive, you put them in a tough position, a tough 3rd down, and you're getting off the field. This is the steps and the progress that we want to see from a team that's in rebuilding mode.
Rogers, Jake Rogers, standing back at his 25, awaiting the punt here from Evan Finnegan. Rogers, the 29-yard line. That's where Bowling Green will start their 2nd possession A 7-3 game after a 36-yard punt with 4:45 to go in the first. Less than 5 to play here in the opening quarter. Buffalo on top of Bowling Green 7-3. Before we get back to it, I want to let you know Thursday at 7 Eastern. Don't miss the semifinals of the Featherweight World Grand Prix as former champion Darian Caldwell fights undefeated AJ McKee. Catch it all on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Back to the ball game, Malik, and a good defensive effort there. A penalty helped it, but Bowling Green gets the stop on Buffalo, and they've got the football back. The yards, a 26-yard edge so far for Buffalo.
If I'm Bowling Green, I'm feeling encouraged. Coming on this second drive, I want to start off again with Andrew Clare getting a big run like he did last time. Let's see what he does with the ball this time.
Did a very good job, and he finds a seam. He's tripped up, and they're going to spot him down about the 36-yard line. Tackle was made by James Patterson.
So far, if you hand him the ball every first down, you're going to have something good. As you can tell, he's able to be shifty enough to slide through the defense and play it smooth and hit the second level to where now you're in a good position. On second down, you can do anything you want. You can play action, you can run the ball again. It gives you guys some options.
2nd and 3. They go right back to the young man that's moving those feet well. He's going to move the sticks here. Picks up the first down with a gain of 4. Does Andrew Clare, the redshirt junior out of St. Louis. Didn't have him in the game against Kent State last week. Mentioned earlier he was injured in the week 1 matchup at Toledo. Shoulder injury. Veteran guy. They've got some young studs in their stable in that backfield.
I really like the rotation of all 3 guys. You get a chance to get different styles. I mean, these are 3 different complete backs.
McDonald stands in. Down the middle, got a man wide open, caught at the 40. It is caught by Julian Ortega-Jones. First down, Falcons.
We got a chance to talk to Ortega-Jones last night, and his confidence in the receiver group was amazing. You can see he had a little inside, looked like it was going to be an over route, converted it to an out route, and it got the safety stuck just enough to get him some space. This is the most technically sound receiver that Bowling Green has, and their coach was missing, but he was the coach on the field, and it proved to show it this week.
Yeah, pick up a 26 there. Now McDonald loads and fires again, and out of the reach there, wanting a penalty flag, but not getting it there, was Noah Massey. Covered by King.
I'll tell you what, I really like Matt McDonald is not afraid to take the shot. He sees the one-on-one and he likes it. He's not going to have completely wide open guys. He's going to put the ball in a place where, I mean, that looks like he could even get a penalty with it.
I was going to say, yeah.
But a great job by Matt McDonald, just giving his players chances to make plays.
2nd and 10 now for Matt McDonald. Embry in motion. They feed Clare. Clare, good run left side, down close to the 30-yard line, maybe a little bit inside of it. Stop and forced out of bounds by Roy Baker, the cornerback. One thing to notice, Benny, is that Bowling Green's offensive line is getting some push against a very experienced Buffalo defensive line that they're not tackling in the backfield, they're not penetrating right now, so it's making it easier for Andrew Clare to break the offensive line of scrimmage and get some yards out of it. So we're not really used to seeing Buffalo's defense either give up so many type of plays like they're doing right now. 6 carries, 44 for Clare in the ball game. 3rd and 5 here for Bowling Green. Heavy set here. And a good job up front by Buffalo. Clare going to lose a little bit of yardage there as Malcolm Kuntz led the charge for the 2nd time tonight, Malik. They try to flash Julian Ortega-Jones through there to get some shift so that running back can find the backside. He tried to bounce it out, but that pursuit of that Buffalo defense, I mean, they're top and dominant for a reason. You see all 11 guys meeting the ball carrier. It's a group that scored 3 defensive touchdowns in their opener. 4th and 4. Scott Loeffler says, let's go for it, boys. McDonald stands in, fires. It is caught. And a good decision by Loeffler, an offensive coordinator. Terry Malone, they find Ortega-Jones for the first down. What a great call by Scott Loeffler to have confidence in his offense to pick up this 4th down. I mean, they have nothing to lose. They know they're going against a team that on paper is outmatching them, but right now, the confidence this Bowling Green offense is playing with, they can go all the way down the field with this one. I'm really liking the plays they're putting out there, especially highlighting the best players on the team right now. You got Ortega, you got Clare. They're now 2 for 6 going for it on 4th down this season. All The Falcons caught again by Ortega Jones there. Tackle made by Isaiah King.
Both teams are moving with some speed on offense. They're not allowing the other team or the defense on the other side to get set too much. They're kind of mush rush. They're putting everybody up at the line of scrimmage, and just you want to move faster for a team that doesn't play necessarily well using the whole play clock. So it's good for them to be moving at a fast enough pace to get some momentum swinging against a really good defense.
Good balance so far. 8 plays, 4 runs, 4 throws. They're going to go back to the ground here, and it's Raymore with the football to the near sideline. A host of white shirts there. Tim Terry involved in the tackle, leading the charge. 3rd down coming up here. We've already seen Bowling Green go for it on this drive. This is very well 4-down territory again for them.
I would love to see the ball in Matt McDonald's hands. Find a way to get a matchup for Ortega. You tried to run it last time on 3rd down, but this time, I mean, he's playing well right now. He has a lot of confidence. He's throwing strikes. Find Ortega Jones somewhere in the slot or somewhere in a motion situation to get him out on the play action. You want to get the ball in your playmaker's hands on this crucial down.
Falcons are 1 of 3 on 3rd down thus far in the ball game. Broden in motion. Do they look his way to the right? Pressure coming backside. McDonald gonna have to run it now. Takes a shot, gets out of bounds. Forced out at the 17 by Tim Terry. So 4th and short. Do they kick it or go for it? We'll find out here in a minute.
I just love how the offense is trying to flood the zone. They're playing quarters on defense. It's a pretty straight up defense, and the good thing about having a motion to bring a flood the zone side, you can put some guys in tough positions. The backside wasn't open for him, and he found ways to get at least not a negative play. You don't want any negative plays on this offense. Yeah, I'm okay with 3 points right now and making the game close. It's a competitive game right now.
Second Bowling Green possession, looking to get a field goal as they did on the first one from 34, and whistles blow, and kick was good, but whistles halting that one before it ever took off.
Time expired prior to the snap. There's no foul. That's the end of the quarter.
So there you have it from Greg Sujak, our referee. We played 1 quarter here in Bowling Green, Ohio. Jarrett Patterson, the only touchdown of the game for Buffalo. The Bulls on top of Scott Loeffler and his guys, 7-3 after 1. Malik, take a look at what Matt McDonald's done through 1 quarter. Your thoughts?
The one word I can say about Matt McDonald so far is decisive. When you're decisive, you can throw strikes like this. He's been following the game plan to a T, finding his action-reaction, his first read, his second read, and he's 5 for 7 for 58 yards. That tells you right there how decisive he's been playing, and he has to keep this up all game.
So late in the first quarter, Bowling Green had gone for it on a 4th down. It was much longer than what they need now. They need 2. And Needham's going to come on. He's 1 for 1, knocked one through from 40 in the opening quarter. Agree, disagree? What do you do here?
I think they should go for it, but you know, I don't think they want to be too greedy just yet.
Okay, and the kick's no good. So the attempt is no good.
They should have went for it. They went for a longer one on the same drive, but for them to not be totally bought into this drive, it just takes away from the momentum that they had coming down the field. I mean, they drove all the way from the opposite end of the field to get in good position that at this point with Matt McDonald playing the way he is and Andrew Clare making some explosive runs, why not go for it? You have playing a dominant team in Buffalo that is not going to give you any breaks. So you want to take advantage as much as you can.
That kick was into the wind for Nate Needham. So Kyle Van Treese in Buffalo, they come on for their 3rd possession of the game. 86 yards they put together. Had a penalty that threw a wrench into their 2nd possession. Here they go to work from the 20-yard line. Patterson to the right of Van Treese. Van Treese comes on firing, caught by none at the 25-yard line. And a good job to get over there was Caleb Biggers to force him out of bounds.
So much importance is focused on the run game for this Bowling Green defense that you're going to have a lot of one-on-ones outside, that this is pitch and catch for Kyle Van Treese and Antonio Nunn on the outside. Now, for Bowling Green, that may be fine if you give that up, but you got to make a tackle and not let him run all the way down the field.
Antonio Nunn, they met last year. These two teams in Buffalo had 4 grabs, 67 yards in a decisive win for Buffalo. Patterson wanted to go left, now comes back right. Good pursuit to the football there. 3 brown shirts right there to get it, the brown and orange. The charge was led by Walter Hare up front. 3rd down coming up now.
Want to see a little more action from Kyle Vantrease. Let's see if they'll do some more throwing on 3rd down to switch it up to get some more yards in chunk plays. They've done a lot of methodical driving down the field. It's time for a big shot for them.
Well, they need 2 here, needing the 30-yard line. Patterson with it. And Jaret Patterson able to pick the 1st down up to the 31-yard line. Gain of 3 for Buffalo to keep the drive moving and the 6 moving.
Not too many drives that Buffalo's had already, but in the drives they have had, they've done a great job of just being consistent. You know, when you're having to deal with an offense with so many talented guys, it's not enough footballs to go around, but you can do a good job of balancing out the pass versus the run like they've done so far, and it's been very good for them so far.
And Treese came into this one after 2 games leading the MAC in passing yards. Feeds Patterson. Jaret Patterson, another good chunk there he picked up. About 7, he was stopped there by Colby Coleman.
I like the penetration from the defensive line of Bowling Green. They had a problem last week giving up a lot of rushing yards, but this time they're doing a great job of at least penetrating and making the Patterson at least make a guy miss before he breaks the line of scrimmage.
Yep, he made 1 miss there, and he picks up the 1st down. Gain of 4. Jerry Roberts, we talked to him yesterday, and he's a young man from Erie, Pennsylvania. He's about 90 minutes from Buffalo, and I had to ask, I said, did Buffalo recruit you? I wish we could show his face as reacts. It was great. He said, no, this one means a little bit more to me than any other game so far, obviously. Good story, good player, and he's a guy, as they get it to the outside there, Antonio Nunn with it. Roberts said, I'll let you tell the story. Remember what he told us about his pregame routine?
Oh, yeah, his pregame routine. He's definitely a big fan of Ray Lewis. He's going to take everything from the dances to the motivational speeches to the energy that it brings to a defense, and it's showing tonight. These guys are playing with a lot more effort. They're not trying to let Buffalo just take them completely out the game early, and they're making plays. They're making tackles, not allowing guys to just be arm tackles. They're putting bodies on guys, and he's really stepping up to the plate in this game.
He has so far. 1st down here, Vantrease comes out throwing. That one's short. His intended target, the product of Windsor, Ontario, Dominic Johnson, 6'5", 220-pound senior, was a quarterback when he first joined their program behind Tyree Jackson, who was a really good one, did Dominic Johnson.
It's always interesting when a quarterback converts into another position. We are pretty versatile from being able to have the knowledge of different skill positions, but at the same time, it's hard to give up throwing the football when you're touching it all the time.
We being quarterbacks, you mean, right?
Yeah, well, of course.
You're in that group.
I'm definitely in that group.
Here's Kevin Marks now. There's the speed. Marks with a burst. Still got it up the sideline, inside of the 30. I think he was shot out of a rocket there. Kevin Marks moves the chains for 19.
And that's why I call my guy shifty. He's deceptively fast to where he looks like he's out of control running, but then he can break away from defenders, which keep guys off balance. We don't know if you're going to run me over or run the guys on the sideline over, because he's so that has a lot of impact when he runs.
They feed the beast once again, and Kevin Marks, look at that push. Inside of the 15, the old lineman down there, and just working and working. Fuzak in there, the right tackle, gain of 14. So to give you the measurements, so Jaret Patterson is 5'9", 195. Marks is 6 foot, 205. And you see what Buffalo has done this season. You can't get any better than that. Perfect at 7 for 7 in the red zone. Brought to us by Verizon tonight.
Got to give credit to this offensive line. They're playing very punishing football right now.
They sure are.
Right downhill.
Yep, downhill goes Kevin Marks. 16 for 109 last week in their win over Miami. Miami, a team that last year won the MAC championship, defeated Central Michigan, and that game wasn't even close in the end. Buffalo ran away with it.
I don't think there's too much indecision here. I'm giving it to Kevin Marks right up the middle.
Yep. 2nd and 6. They give it to Marks, right side. Kevin Marks takes on the defender, and he's forced out of bounds by the safety back there, Jordan Anderson. 3rd down coming up.
Now you're talking about an explosive offense, and Kevin Marks makes this offense explosive. You can do many things from throwing it out of the backfield to doing a lot of what they like in terms of outside runs. They like to hit that edge and let these guys be track stars.
Here's Marks up the gut, and he extended the ball. No whistle, keeps going, gets into the end zone, and it's a touchdown. So Patterson had the first. They do it again on the ground, and this time it's Kevin Marks taking it in to make it 13-3 Buffalo.
This drive was full of Kevin Marks, and like I said, they're just going to be physical up front. They're not going to hide too much. And look at this, the offensive line, they're the caboose to this offense. Anytime you're struggling, they're going to be able to find a way to push you through, just like here. And that's just the explosiveness of this offense. Not only are the offensive linemen engaged, the running backs and the quarterback included.
The 22nd career rushing touchdown in the career of Kevin Marks. McNulty, senior out of Rochester, New York, tacks on the point after. And the Bulls are on top, 14-3.
I love Kevin Marks finishing this drive, but we love the competitiveness on both sides. This is going to come down to the wire so far, but stay with it.
14-3 Buffalo here, early stages of quarter number 2 here in this Tuesday night action affair. Well, Bowling Green redshirt junior running back Andrew Clare has been playing this season with a very heavy heart. On September 22nd, his beloved 25-year-old sister Tanisha passed away after contracting coronavirus. Andrew wanted to spread awareness about the severity of the virus even among young people, and he's doing that with his team and the coaching staff. We talked with Scott Loeffler and his coordinators, and very high praise for a young man. A very tough situation, certainly, in the times we're all living in. And he's a guy, from what we were told, has been doing all the right things. He's been following the guidelines, and unfortunately it happened, and we're thinking of him and his family in that situation with his sister. So Denley and Mitchell. Denley number 12, Mitchell number 11, back deep. It's going to be Denley. Bryson Denley had an 81-yard return against Kent State last week. They didn't cash in with a touchdown. They did get points. They got a field goal out of it. He's a guy that's got to be a difference maker for them. 23 yards on the return. Bowling Green's offense comes back on. What are your thoughts on them so far? And this one it's a 14-3 game.
Well, so far, the first thing I'm going to do is hand it off to Andrew Clare. He's been able to generate some good yardage on the first down play. And then after that, I'm going to put the ball in Matt McDonald's hands and Julian Ortega's hands on the outside. Get some one-on-one matchups going, and then try to put the run game back in place.
McDonald to the air. This one, the pitch and catch is caught. That is Terrion Stewart. Young man last week came in the 4th quarter, and it goes right to the point about Scott Loeffler when we talked to him. He said, look, I'm judging what you talked about earlier, that chemistry, that body language of players. 14 for 162 and 2 touchdowns in a game that was over.
To have that amount of yardage and amount of impact in a 4th quarter when the game is over just shows the character of this young team. You know, 60% of this team are freshmen, and for Terrion Stewart to be able to go in here and make plays like this, I mean, as we check it out,
there you go.
The game is pretty much over, but he's running like it's the first quarter.
Yep.
He's finishing runs, he's making the right reads on holes, and on top of that, for him to have that second level speed to outrun safeties and corners in the 4th quarter of a game that's typically over just shows why he should get more touches tonight.
He is an unbelievable story. We'll try to share that with you as we move along. 3rd and 3 here. And they feed Stewart, and he's going to be about a yard shy. As Tim Terry got to him, Eddie Wilson in there as well. Stewart saying, let's go for it, coach.
Yeah, you can see him calling for the ball right now. This is a guy that's hungry. His jersey's torn. He's got some paint on his arms, but this kid wants to play. He doesn't want the punt team to come out because he realized the magnitude of this game. This is not just another game. This is one of the best teams in the conference, and he wants to make his name known.
Well, they wanted to go for it, but Scott Loeffler, he's gonna roll the dice from time to time, but I don't think he's gonna roll the dice right here from the 32-yard line.
A little too aggressive, too aggressive.
Yep, you got to be smart in those decisions, certainly, as Matt Naranjo is on to punt. Ron Cook will let this one bounce. It'll take a good bounce for Bowling Green. They'll down it just inside of the 25-yard line. We'll step aside. Buffalo getting it back after a 43-yard punt when we get you back. Less than 9 remaining in this first half. Buffalo on top of Bowling Green, 14-3. And so you see that graphic there, and they've had no sacks in 6 straight games. That goes back to last year. Last time they gave up a sack on the road at Eastern Michigan in November.
It's a quarterback's dream. First thing they do is they do a lot of pre-motion, a lot of shifts, a lot of motions in general. Then it requires a lot of communication from the defense that they just can't tee off coming upfield. Another thing, when you have such an effective run game with 2 dominant running backs, you got play action. You get to move the line. You get to have the defensive line take steps away. Also, when you also have a great offensive line, you have a great quick game. And when you have guys like Antonio Nunn on the outside, it's nothing for Vantrease to just toss it outside, let him make a play, and it also tires out the defense when you can't just come upfield and you're getting the ball out in a 2.5-second range.
And as a quarterback, your jersey's clean way more than it's not.
I'm sure Vantrease takes his guys out for dinner a lot, keeping his jersey so clean.
Chick-fil-A, what do you think, Qdoba? Here's Patterson right side. Bursting through the hole is Jaret Patterson. And a pickup of 12 there on the first down run for the product of Glendale, Maryland.
You just got to love a back like Patterson, the way he just skips through the line. He has pitter-patter feet, so he's able to put him up and pick him up and put him down in places that defenders with long strides can't keep up with. And also, him having the height and the physical size of him being able to be patient enough to find those holes makes it hard for a defense to just fire through the gaps and find him.
He is 9 away from becoming number 3 all-time in Buffalo program history. They're going to back up 5 here. We'll hear from Greg Sujak.
Ball start. Number 71 offense. 5-yard penalty remains. First down.
So there's the word, and the penalty there called on a young man that rotates in a lot, Ray Thomas Ishman, and the two-headed monster indeed. These are 2 of the best backs in college football, period.
These guys can start anywhere in the country,
yeah.
And for them to have the ability to have a relationship, to be able to be knowing that they're 2 stars, but able to share the football and be excited for each other is something special.
Yeah, and the head coach, Lance Leipold, is Patterson again. Another big chunk there, cuts back inside, takes it across the 45 to the 46. And it was very interesting in talking with Lance Leipold yesterday. He said these guys are constantly rooting for each other.
It's interesting to see 2 running backs that want the ball so much, but be so bigger fans of each other. You know, anytime you got one guy going out there making a big play, another guy's cheering him on. And that's the type of locker room and running back position room you need to have a successful offense, because everybody eats.
Yep. On the play before that one, Jaret Patterson moved into 3rd place on Buffalo's all-time rushing list. He passed Anthony Swan. The young man is going to play on Sunday, whenever that is, but he's going to play on Sunday.
Oh yeah, I'm expecting both of these guys, Kevin Marks and James Patterson, to have an impact because they're all-around backs. They're not just a one-way go type of guy.
And of course, the broadcast jinx right there as they get him for a minimal gain. He might even lost a little bit of yards, but he'll get that back. But seriously, I saw him his freshman year. It was a game in Mount Pleasant. They were playing Central Michigan, and I walked away from that game saying, this guy is a real deal.
Absolutely.
Anytime he is a talent.
You got guys that are special from the jump, and then you got guys that develop over time. I feel like Jaret Patterson was a guy that came in and knew his football body right away, opposed to a guy like Kevin Marks, who took a little time trying to find that right position, but when he fit in, he hit it full speed.
From the gun, Vantrease comes out firing, near side. Good job to get the feet down there. It is caught. It is Antonio Nunn there, covered by Caleb Biggers, but that is tough to cover, isn't it?
Once again, you're going one-on-one outside. These are your yes or no throws, and for Kyle to put his whole arm in this is a cross-field throw that is also a timing route. Anytime you're throwing the ball outside, you don't want to leave it inside, so you have to be on time. He did that, and Antonio Nunn having the balance to keep 2 feet in is just why they're ever more dangerous on offense.
Nunn has 5 grabs for 56. That is every reception for Buffalo so far. 3rd and 2 here. And Colby Coleman getting to the ball carrier, Jaret Patterson there. This is close, but they are saying they've got it. Side judge said move the chains.
the one switch up that they have on offense is this burst of a huddle. They put the receivers out early, and then they'll just snap it and rush to the line to try to get that first down. You're seeing a little bit of it here. And for defenses, you can't really adjust until the last second, but usually it's too late.
Out of the gun, they feed Patterson. Not much there. Got back to the line of scrimmage. That was about it. So let's take a look back here at the previous play on the spot. You see the first down line there, the orange line. Lines, of course, are unofficial, but what do you think, Malik?
Not only is Jared short, he was short on this first down right here, but when you're moving fast and you give a lot of credit to an offensive team like this, they're expected to get these first downs.
Right. Kevin Marks in the game. Spelling Patterson here, coming up on 5 to play in the half. They've done it with Patterson running it 6 times, thrown 1 ball to Antonio Nunn. Coming up on 4 minutes on the drive. Back to the air, this one, pitch and catch. It's Antonio Nunn again. Nunn's got the first down, forced out of bounds at the 25-yard line by Cedric Mitchell.
The reason why you're seeing a lot of one-on-one matchups where it's looking like he's so wide open is because the Buffalo offense has done a great job of using 2 tight end sets. You're condensing the whole formation of the offense, which is giving run looks to defenses, and which requires the outside guys to be one-on-one, and you got Van Treese as being accurate and on point and hitting these easy routes on the outside.
Marks remains in the game, number 5 there, the running back, as they look to the sidelines.
Makes it a little easier when you have 2 tight ends to just go straight to a run and force those one-on-ones on the outside.
One of those tight ends is 6'6", and Zach LaFave. Penalty flag is down. The other one is Jake Molinich, 6 foot 255. They call him their hammerhead. Here's Sujak with a word. Soon. Any thoughts? Any idea? Or?
I think they're just huddling up to get a little warm before the call.
They might be. Well, obviously the microphone not working there. Officials timeout there, sounds like.
I'm going to take a look at the last play, it seems.
Well, we're going to step aside after they sort that out. We'll come back. 4:20 to go. Buffalo on the move, up by 11.
College football on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Muscle Milk. With 0 sugar and 25 grams of protein, Muscle Milk helps build muscles. By ServPro's Proactive Cleaning Program, certified ServPro cleaned. A higher standard of clean for your business. And by the Queso Burger for just $3.99, only for a limited time at Sonic.
Look at those mugs. They look like Mug Costanza. That's like 15 years ago. You look good.
Never seen better cutouts.
That's awesome, though. We
like
appreciate them doing that. Jason Knable, the Sports Information Department. So first down and 10 here for Buffalo. They're on top 14-3. This is Kevin Marks. Marks with a burst up the sideline, puts his head down and runs right over and through Jerry Roberts. A gain of 11 to move the chains.
The one thing offensive coordinator Kolnecki mentioned was that you got to give the ball to your players, you know, and they do everything to do that. They give the ball to Jared, they give the ball to Kevin, and then when you get enough of those, then you're going to get hit with Antonio Nunn, and you can see how the balance grows for an offense that truly can do anything that they want from a passing or rushing standpoint, especially when you have a solid offensive line in the front.
Yeah, we didn't even mention Zach LaFave, their tight end, right? I mean, seriously, right? I mean, they got Trevor Wilson's a good youngster. They're 8 for 8 in the red zone, 2 for 2 tonight. As they're in there now, there is a penalty flag. Looks like a false start. And I just want to do a little housekeeping because Greg Sujak's microphone isn't working. Before our last break, Buffalo had taken a timeout. We couldn't obviously tell what was going on there because we couldn't hear Greg Sujak.
Moved a little fast, but the thing I do like also is that they've used 2 tight ends pretty much this whole drive, with LaFave and the other tight end being in there. And what it does is it creates mismatches in the blocking scheme when you're trying to hit outside runs and even inside runs. You can hit that second level a lot easier.
Here's Marks, takes on the tackler, runs through the cornerback there, a young man who's a great story, Deonta Burns. 90 days ago, he wasn't even here. Now he's starting for Bowling Green.
Talk about a guy, Deonta Burns, where he just showed up on campus and was ready to play.
Yep.
And that's something that you don't really find too often before a guy to be a walk-on, to show up at a program like this, and then to do what it takes to be on the field just shows why, and it shows the character, really, of this Bowling Green team that is on the rise in the rebuild.
Yep, it is. The rebuild underway, but those are the things that Scott Loeffler could not stop talking about. He loves that about some of his team. Here's Marks, cuts inside, broke a tackle at the 10, and he'll be finished off by Coleman. Colby Coleman came in there, number 55, to finish him off. Third down coming up for Buffalo.
We mentioned in the open, you got your guy Shifty, who's deceptively fast, and he can run you over. He's going to give you the wild man head shakes and arm fakes, but the thing I like about him most is that he's going to fall forward unless you bring 3 or 4 guys to rally and make a tackle.
So 3rd and 5 facing Loeffler's defense. 3 of 4 on 3rd down conversions are Buffalo. Moving, 2:15 and counting to play in the half.
They tighten down the bunkers on this one.
Yep, we'll see. 12th play of the drive. Play clock down to 2. We're going to have to snap this thing now, and they get it away. Van Treese puts it into the breadbasket of Marks, and Marks is going to be a little bit shy. If that spot I saw initially stands, they go for this. I mean, they don't even need a yard.
You got the whole offense saying, let's go for it, especially Kevin Marks. If I got Kevin Marks saying I should go for it, I definitely would listen to him. And they're probably going to go to him again, right back to back.
6th year running this Buffalo program for Lance Leipold, the native of Jefferson, Wisconsin. His team here.
Look at that time of possession.
Yep.
7 minutes
Massive.
of just punishing the other side of the football.
4th and a yard. And whistles halting play and a timeout. Bowling Green will take one with him. 1:23 left in the half. 4th and 1 coming up for Buffalo when we come back. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, Adam Zucker, Brian Jones, Rick Neuheisel, Randy Cross, and Aaron Taylor. Busy night tonight in our New York studio. They'll preview Week 12 of the college football season. It's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. So, Bowling Green's defense on the field. If they're going to stop here, I mean, you got to consider this half a victory for them, down just 11 to a team that came in averaging 45 a game, and a defense giving up 50 a game.
Coach Loeffler has to be proud that his defense hasn't given up explosive plays. They haven't made it easy for such an explosive offense on the Buffalo side, to the point where they even took a timeout to make sure they got things right when they do this explode huddle like they do.
Here they come to the line. They need a yard. Van Treese hands off Patterson, trying to break through, and Patterson does. Vintage Jaret Patterson right there. Breaks a couple of tackles and takes it in for the score to make it 20-3, capping a 13-play, 75-yard drive that took 7.5 minutes.
This is what you call the bowling ball. He's so hard to tackle because not only is he low to the ground, but he keeps moving his feet. As you can tell, he doesn't stop his feet moving, and he's carrying defenders into the end zone, which is why you need a lot of hats to bring a guy like this down.
Second rushing touchdown of the night for Jaret Patterson, 3rd straight with 2 or more in the last, well, let's say 6 quarters. He's got 8 touchdowns against Bowling Green.
I told you he wanted to circle this game on the calendar, and he's showing up tonight. What a tough run, what a good finish, and he's in a place to be.
17 carries, 96 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Jaret Patterson. When they met last year, he had 272 at the half rushing yards, and he is now sitting at 39 rushing touchdowns, a school record at Buffalo. And Kevin Marks on the left, Jaret Patterson on the right. Patterson with 2 touchdowns. Marks has the other one tonight.
The one that you can appreciate too is that with all these great number accolades that Jaret Patterson has, you have to also speak to his durability.
Yeah.
The best availability is durability. and his ability to stay healthy and amass all these numbers, especially at the running back position, is a testament of why he's such an all-around great back.
Yeah, well said. No doubt about it. As Denley, fair catch in the end zone, and just referenced it, but let's go back to it. Your Bowling Green fans aren't going to like this, but Jaret Patterson, 26 carries, a school record 298, a MAC record 6 touchdowns. I mean, that's like old school Tecmo Bowl, man.
I'll tell you what, I can't even do that on a video game, but for him to do it in real life, I mean, he was running wild, and clearly the Bowling Green defense saw that film from last year and won't let that happen so far in this game.
Yep, 21-3, so Matt McDonald and the Bowling Green offense here. They've got a couple of timeouts left, each team with 2. And 1:18 to play in the half. They're down 18 from the gun. They rush 4, McDonald, nobody open, gonna take off and run, and McDonald is hit hard in the open field about the 28-yard line. As Tim Terry, who's having a night, he's played really well.
That the runner was down before the ball became loose.
Yeah, quarterbacks aren't used to sliding like in baseball. He was trying to find somewhere to go to avoid the defender, but in a situation like this, we don't, as quarterbacks, we don't have any skin in the game to try to make guys miss. Our best ability is to stay without being hit.
Yeah, McDonald taking a shot down the middle, and it is caught. It is caught down there by Noah Massey. So the Falcons will hurry to the line. Clock stops momentarily. Gain of 34, Malik.
This is what you call trust. What we do know about this Buffalo defense is they're going to play quarters, which is going to give the offense, especially these receivers, opportunity to hit post routes going across the field because the safety's sitting there, and he just made a trust throw, but he's got to make an even better throw to put his receiver in position to not only catch it, but to catch it and score. That was a dialed-up play to be explosive for a touchdown. Matt McDonald has to deliver a better football so you'll be able to see it.
Julian Ortega-Jones the catch there. They immediately took the timeout with 24 seconds to play in the half. 1 timeout left for Bowling Green. 2nd and 6 when we resume. So far, good-looking drive here from the Falcons. Trying to get one in the end zone here before the half.
They've been dialing it up just right. They took the necessary steps to lure the defense in to get that post shot that they wanted. Matt McDonald, I know he's on the sideline wishing that he had the same pass.
Well, while they talk this over, let's let you know about our fast facts. They're brought to us tonight by Tums, and a lot of coaches would be chain swallowing Tums with all those freshmen. I mean, 60% of their roster. That is amazing, but again, Scott Loeffler is very adamant about sticking to the plan and doing it right the way Dave Clawson did.
And he's so committed to doing that. They want to reach that 2015, 2016 year. One of my great teammates, Isla Hardy, had a chance to play that year, and they won two Big Ten games that year.
Yeah.
And I know they're trying to repeat the process, but it's going to take time. You can't just get a bunch of transfers and leave right after. He wants to build this from the ground up.
Yep. As Tim Terry forcing McDonald out of bounds with 16 seconds left. 3rd down coming up here. You see Scott Loeffler came to Michigan back in the 90s, was the highest rated quarterback they'd ever had. Injured his labrum, injured his shoulder, had to quit playing, became a coach there under Michigan staff. 3rd and 2 here. McDonald sings one down the middle, and James Patterson, twin brother of Jaret Patterson, right there was the closest to it. Ortega-Jones, the intended target. 4th and 2 coming.
You can tell McDonald really wanted this throw. He set his feet to throw this ball right going across the middle, but he didn't have his eyes in the right place. You can't just jump from one side of the field to the other. He's got to go through the proper progression so you're not out here throwing the ball blindly.
James Patterson would like to have that one back. Middle linebacker, they moved him into the middle this year and played outside. It's a very highly sought-after recruit. 4th down to the outside, and it is behind the intended target, Tyrone Broden. So a turnover on downs with 8 seconds remaining, and you would figure Buffalo is just going to come out and take a knee here to end the half.
And this is where the development of Matt McDonald has to come with mechanics. As you can tell, he has a dip or a drop in the football, which is going to make it harder for him to be able to be accurate when he needs to be. He almost dropped it to his shoelaces on it. It took too much momentum to put the ball in the place he wanted to be, and he needs those type of completions because they could have got out of this half with 3 additional points with that completion.
Yep. And there's Buffalo taking the knee to end the half. Bowling Green Green will receive the kickoff to begin the second half. We played 2 quarters here on this Tuesday night installment of Maction here on CBS Sports Network. It's 21-3 Buffalo on top of Bowling Green. Coming up after the break, Adam Zucker, Brian Jones, Rick Neuheisel, Randy Cross, Aaron Taylor. They're standing by in our New York studio. The Verizon Halftime Report. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network. Well, it is mid-November. Cool night here in Bowling Green. Perfect night for college football. Tuesday night in the Maction alongside Malik Zaire. My name is Ben Holden. Biggest thoughts on the first half for you?
Well, we knew we were going to get a heavy dose of Buffalo's running backs, Nifty and Shifty, or Jared Patterson and Kevin Marks, and they did what we thought they were going to do. 180 yards rushing in the first half, the touchdowns coming from those guys. You know that that's the glue of that offense. That's going to get them going. And on the other side, we get to see Bowling Green play with a lot better effort than weeks before. They only limited Buffalo to 21 points in this first half, and that's speaking volumes to a team that usually gives up 45 so far this season. So for them to be able to have 68 rushing yards and the things that they've been able to do to get close to scoring, it really sticks to what Coach Scott Loeffler was saying. It's about execution with these guys. So they're not going to really look at the scoreboard this second half. I mean, they may if it gets a little closer, but they're sticking to what they came in with, and that's body language and effort.
Yep, so our game summary there, you saw those numbers. It's brought to us tonight by Muscle Milk. Just 4 possessions in the half for Buffalo. We both ran into Andy Kotelnicki, the offensive coordinator, and out in the hallway there, and he said, we only had the ball 4 times. I said, well, you did a pretty good job there, Coach. So his team is on top by 18 here as we begin the third quarter. 2 games in the MAC tonight. This one in Kent State, Akron, Miami, Ohio, and Ohio was wiped out due to COVID. So these 2 are taking center stage tonight. Bryson Denley in the end zone there takes it. And let's take a look at Bowling Green, some of their key moving pictures, Malik.
Bowling Green, they just missed cues. They were not able to come down with this field goal right here, which set them back, but they got down in the red zone. And this right here is just a pure execution. They need to work a little bit more together to be on the same page. But these are the things that have been tripping it up. Self-inflicted wounds. Nothing that Buffalo has done too much to really stop the momentum of this offense.
See their possessions, indeed, what they did. 2 long possessions of 10 and 11 plays. And dropped in the backfield is McDonald. And he is dropped by Malcolm Kuntz, who led the MAC last season with 9 sacks, adds 1 here in 2020.
Kuntz is just a beast off the edge. Like I said, his ability to be able to dip and get under that offensive tackle just shows how athletic he really is and how hard it is to stop him on a consistent basis. He made a couple plays last half, but this half he started off right. This is kind of where the Buffalo defense really puts in that work.
Brian Borland, the defensive coordinator for Buffalo, said he's a guy that just flat out shows up every single day. Diving ahead across the 20-yard line goes Andrew Clare, who came in and gave him a nice shot in the arm early in the game. Eddie Wilson made the tackle. There's the against the wall in the blue shirt, blue mask is Brian Borland, the defensive coordinator. He and Lance Leipold, their head coach, have known each other since they were kids. They've been together 14 years coaching, and that's huge too, as you know, playing the level and the places you played. You got to have consistency. 3rd and 14, what do you look for here, Malik?
3rd and 14, I'm looking for Julian Ortega-Jones. I'm looking for him to get open in something like a spot route. They're running some man. Let's see if Matt McDonald can find a way to throw the ball against a man coverage.
See what he does, stands in. They bring the heat and they drop him. They get him again. Kuntz involved in that as well. And he got some help as well from George Wolo.
Buffalo doing a good job of showing pressure and then bailing out. But when you have such great 4-man rush like this, Matt McDonald stands no chance. And the Buffalo defense must have went in that half and said, we got to turn this game up.
Well, there is a penalty flag.
With the warning. Please set the game clock to 13:30.
Flag was picked up, I'm told. 4th and 23 here. And Arano's on to punt basically from his own end zone here. Buffalo comes out sharp here in the third quarter.
Buffalo came out as the bully and put this offense in a tough position. I mean, they're backed up, not a lot of places to go, and hopefully they're trying to block this kick.
Morano has not had one blocked this season. He avoids it there. Low kick caught at the 45-yard line, and a good run back up the far side, cutting back inside of the 20-yard line goes Ron Cook Jr. So he does his job on special teams, setting the Bulls up with a very short field after a return of 23.
One thing that Coach Scott Loeffler mentioned was that on special teams, they have to be able to flip the field.
Yeah.
If you're not kicking it past the 50 and they're returning it on your own 40, you're putting this Buffalo offense in a position that you don't want them in, making it easy for them to just run in the end zone.
Well, both games Buffalo has played this season, this 6-game max schedule, they've scored 21 in the third quarter. Patterson lined up behind Van Treese last week in the second half. They scored on all 4 of their possessions against Miami. Patterson does a good job to pick up 2, maybe 3 there. Stopped by Darren Anders and slow to get up there. Looks like Jerry Roberts. It is Roberts, and yeah, he took a shot below the belt. Red Zone brought to you tonight by Verizon. Bulls are perfect on the season, 9 of 9 inside of the red zone. Talked about Roberts in the first half and how important this game was to him. Not recruited at all by Buffalo from Erie, PA, about 90 miles away. And we're going to get a look and see exactly what happened to Roberts.
See, he just gets hit below the belt, and sometimes those are the worst hits.
Ouch.
You fall wrong, you just need a couple of minutes to shake it off. You know, it's one of those things where you definitely will bounce back, but you'll feel it when you feel it, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. So he comes off at least for a play here after a 2-yard pickup by Jarrett Patterson.
The Bowling Green defense has done a great job of penetrating on first down, making the play calls to second and longer a little more challenging for this offense.
Patterson nearly 100 in the first half on the ground. Far cry from what he did last year when they played 272 in the first half of 298. Van Treese taking a shot into the corner of the end zone, and the intended target there was Bernard Porter. Couldn't come up with a catch. Third down coming.
The next step for Kyle Van Treese is things like this. When you have an opportunity to throw the ball to a guy who's taller than the defender, it's not of an importance to throw it ahead of the guy. You want to be able to treat it like basketball, give this guy a 50-50 chance, and that's something that he'll work on in the offseason and moving forward as a veteran starter. Give your guys a chance.
Buffalo 3 of 5 on third down. They need the 9-yard line. Antonio Nunn up top. Fade was in motion. Patterson drags a defender, and Patterson, good pickup, but they're going to be a couple, maybe 3 shy of the first down. Brings up 4th down here in the opening 3 minutes of the third quarter.
It's underrated, the motion by LaFave, being able to cut across a back towards the formation of the strength, and then they run these outside runs where now they got all the big guys on one side. You bring a guy like Patterson or Kevin Marks off that tackle, and then you will let them create. You got a bunch of blockers out there in front of him, and then you got guys that are small like Kevin Marks and Jarrett Patterson to be able to find those holes, increase the defense to get this first down.
So 4th and 2, and Alex McNulty, their field goal kicker, hasn't kicked. He hasn't even attempted a field goal. They swing it out, and Marks was wide open and just could not reel it in. So a stop for Bowling Green after that miscue, and they get the ball back on the turnover on downs.
It's all about the details. Kyle Van Treese has to finish this drive, but it's a great by Bowling Green to get off the field on the short field they gave to the Buffalo offense, and we'll see more from this when we come back.
Remains an 18-point lead for Buffalo. They're 2-0. Bowling Green in search of their first win here in 2020. And not many things have gone wrong for Buffalo this season, now in game 3, but that's the first red zone drive they did not get a touchdown on.
I know Coach Leipold is not happy with how they finished that drive. They started with the football on their side of the 40 where they could have made an impact. They got a quick score. They didn't come up with points that they wanted, and that's not what you want.
So here's Terrion Stewart. Wolo had a hold of him. And a good run by Stewart. So if you're just joining us, Terrion Stewart, product of Sandusky, Ohio, the same high school that produced one Orlando Pace. They're known as the Blue Streaks after of course, the roller coaster at Cedar Point. But he came in and put up 162. It was the most rushing yards by a true freshman since 2007 here at Bowling Green when Willie Geter ran for 203 against Kent State. Same team Stewart did it against. Picked up 6 on first down. McDonald avoids the pressure, throws on the run, catch is made, and a good play. It's caught by Quentin Morris, their tight end, who's among the best tight ends in the country, again at 24.
Buffalo dialed up a nice blitz, got a single coming in hot and ready, but Matt McDonald did a great job of avoiding the rush, stepping up in the pocket, and finding an open guy downfield. He didn't panic when he saw the free blitzer, and that's just that progression that you want to see from week 2 to 3.
Now 27 straight games that Quentin Morris has had to catch it. Play action look. McDonald again finds Morris, second straight catch for him. One of the things they talked about, a gain of 12, they wanted to get him the ball more, and yeah, he is one of the best tight ends in college football.
What I like about Quentin Morris is his body size gives him the ability to not only get in the trenches and block those combo blocks with those offensive linemen, but also be able to sneak out in the flat and get these little chunk yards that he can turn into big gains.
He's a wide receiver when they first got him, but that one is tipped as Malcolm Kuntz got that. They were trying to go 3 for 3 to Morris there, Malik.
You got to sneak it to him somehow. I mean, the guy is so physically gifted that he doesn't have to run routes too far down the field. Give him something with some space and opportunity to make a play, and he's so big to the point where he's going to make some guys miss, and he's going to fall forward for some extra yards. So that's his game. Get him something like a long handoff so he can make something after.
Great mitts there by Kuntz. He got the right hand up on that one to knock it down, showing the athleticism is the product of Peekskill, New York. 2nd and 10, McDonald. Minimal pickup there, maybe a yard and a half. Brings up 3rd down. They're going to call it a gain of 1.
Might have been some miscues between the quarterback and running back exchange. Terrion Stewart in there. I think that just goes to show he's still learning.
Yeah.
He's still growing in the position.
Remember what Scott Loeffler said to us. He said he did great, but he got our quarterback killed twice. he didn't pass protect. You know about that better than anybody.
Yeah. If you can't protect, you can't play. But for him still learning, those are things that he'll take. And for a character guy like that, he's not going to make the same mistake twice.
Yep. So 3rd and 9 here from the 45 of Buffalo. Fake it. McDonald zings one and nearly picked off, and probably should have been intercepted by Gaddafi Wright. Has a touchdown already this season, a pick 6 he had of 65 yards at Northern Illinois.
What great awareness by Gaddafi Wright, being able to time that just right, but there's a reason why he plays defense, because they don't have hands like receivers. So even though he didn't catch it, a bat down still counts in the stat sheet, and that's just speaks to the plays that he has, that he makes out there.
So Scott Loeffler says we're going to go for it on 4th and 9 here from the 45 of Buffalo.
Buffalo's just going to go with a soft quarters and make everything they have in front of them.
3rd, 4th down attempt of the game. McDonald fires over the middle. It's picked off at the 30-yard line into the waiting hands of James Patterson. And the Bulls get the job done. They're saying incomplete. Stand corrected. They're saying incomplete, but it is a turnover on downs nonetheless. 9:43 to play. Oh, so close here.
Well, you can't do that. He looked like he was throwing right where he wanted to be, but for Buffalo offense, they're going to come back out on offense and run that football.
Turnover on downs for Bowling Green. Buffalo's got the rock back, leading 21-3 here in Bowling Green, Ohio. And tomorrow night, more action about an hour up the road north up US 23. It'll be Toledo facing Eastern Michigan and 7 Eastern. And the MAC West standings for those two teams are at Toledo last week. I mean, Ross Tucker and I had a real good game at Ball State between Eastern and Ball State, won in the final seconds. But the Toledo game, that was heartbreak city for them.
What a way to lose. I had a similar game when we played Kentucky at Florida, where we scored 2 touchdowns on similar plays like they had at Western Michigan last night. And let me tell you, that's a disheartening way to lose.
Oh, I can only imagine. Alongside Malik Zaire, my name is Ben Olden. Here's a look back at Patterson on that run on first down.
I just love the way Patterson moves. Him not being as physically tall as other running backs, the things that defenders do to try to tackle him, he can avoid and still keep balance and stay on his feet, and that's what makes him a tough running back to handle.
I mean, look at him right there. He just gets away from them, try to get him around the ankle. I mean, you're not going to bring him down around the ankle at all.
He's got a lot of jump cuts, and I played it like a little bit like Barry Sanders, not from the sense of always making guys miss, but the way he's running. He's got a lot of jump cuts, quick cuts, and he's one cut going. He's one cut vertical, and from his stature, I'm telling you, it's hard to hit a bowling ball moving.
He looks like it at times, but he gets it done. He needs just 5 yards to become number 2 all-time in program history. James Starks is the guy he's chasing, and Patterson might have got it there. They get the first down on 3rd and a yard. Gain of 3, so he's still a couple away from climbing into 2nd all-time.
And just look at just the relationship between a guy like Patterson and Marks. I'm sure that they both are aware of what's going on from the stats. And just the ability for them to just be like, you got this, you guys. You got this, you can take these reps, get your record, and I'll get mine on the back end. Just shows how close that relationship between those 2 stars really are.
And that's special. You don't see that a lot because you see a lot of guys be in the transfer portal the next day. Look at Patterson, cuts outside, puts his head down, runs over the defender down near the 25-yard line. Cy Dabney finally took him down.
Just making it look so easy. He even got a little high step in there just to show you the flash of what he can bring, and then that's how you finish runs. I mean, this number 5 isn't a small guy.
Right.
But for a small guy to run over a bigger guy just shows just how strong this kid Patterson really is.
Yeah, Dabney is 6 foot and 210 to your point, product of St. Mary's Prep in Orchard Lake, Michigan. So Patterson now into 2nd place all-time in Buffalo rushing history. It's the tight end LaFave in motion. Feed Patterson once again. I mean, just look at that. I mean, look how hard it is to get that guy down. You know, 4 shirts there.
That's a frustrating thing for a defense when you got a smaller guy like that not one person on your defense can take down without bringing a lot of hats. It takes a lot of effort and energy to do that all game, and that's really where Buffalo's offense comes into play, is that they're going to wear down on you. They're not going to do too many different things. They're going to show you different looks but run the same plays, and they've been very successful at that. And over time, it's going to be hard to take down 2 superstars, let alone 1.
Yep, Patterson number 2 all-time, Brandon Oliver. In a full season, I think he might catch Brandon Oliver, but not in a 6-7 game season, maybe 8 games, counting a bowl game. That's Jordan Porter that's down. They tend to him. We'll take a timeout as well. So Jordan Porter on the bench. They tend to him. Freshman out of Muskegon, Michigan. And while we got a chance here, let's take a look at the AP poll powered by Ram Trucks. Both your teams are on fire.
This is the best I've ever seen an AP top 10 look like. You got 2 powerhouse schools in Notre Dame and Florida doing their thing. Hopefully they can finish the season strong and see each other in the end. And then who knows? You know, I'm pretty sure that the way things are set up now, both teams have a chance, but it's going to be hard to get Ohio State out of that top 5.
It really is.
That's one of the most talented teams in the country.
Yeah, it really is. So Jarrett Patterson in the backfield. 2nd down and 6. Patterson on this drive. 5 carries, 34 yards. He's moved into 2nd all-time. Buffalo program history in rushing yards. Patterson to the outside, cuts back inside, and takes it down to the 15-yard line. He is fun to watch. Tackle made there by Darren Anders. Got some help from Jordan Murphy.
One thing that's really cool to see also is that these guys are staying in.
Yes.
They get 2 or 3 runs back to back,
Yep.
and they're still in there doing their job. And that just shows you that these guys are both in shape. You don't see them taking themselves out,
Yep.
but when it's their drive, and the offense evolves around them.
19 first downs for Buffalo, just 9 for Bowling Green. Fresh set of downs here inside of the red zone from the 15-yard line. Fake to Patterson. Van Treese looking. Van Treese throws. It is caught and came out. They're going to rule that a catch. They're going to say incomplete. Incomplete. As it was Bernard Porter. Redshirt sophomore couldn't hang on to it.
Good accuracy by Kyle Van Treese while facing pressure, taking a shot, and still giving his receivers a chance to play big body. Box him out, and he's got to come down and finish that catch. But that's good finish by the defense. They were there, and they finished the play. They just wasn't there. They also had a play on the ball.
And on the coverage there was a young man we talked about a lot in the first half. Product of Columbia, Maryland, Deanna Burns. Patterson, stiff arm. Patterson breaks free. Touchdown, Jared Patterson. The hat trick for Patterson is third of the night, 15 yards. And he does the job again to extend it to a 24-point lead.
Mr. Nifty himself, we talked about this in the open. When he's running the football and he's doing his thing, check out the feet. The little stutter right there was just enough to get the defender off balance, and then he's going to use his speed to round the corner. These are the special traits that Patterson has, and that quick feet you can't find too many places in the country.
His 40th career rushing touchdown. This young man, he's not a senior, he's a true junior. Remarkable what he's done in his career. McNulty tacks on the point after, and Buffalo does it again.
It's what you love to see, man. True offense, being completely dominant how they are. Jared Patterson not only stacking records, but stacking touchdowns as well. This Buffalo offense is rolling.
Willie Nelson in the house tonight here in Bowling Green with 6 to play in the third. And Sunday on CBS, full slate of NFL games is highlighted by 2 of the NFL's best rushing attacks going toe-to-toe when Derrick Henry and the Titans take on Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. It all begins with the NFL today at noon Eastern Sunday on CBS, and Derrick Henry's just a monster.
Oh, man. Just that's the guy that you really want to put in any situation, and he's going to get you out of it. Even if my car was stuck, I'm calling Derrick Henry. He could probably pull that out, too.
Oh, I love it. That is Malik Zaire. My name is Ben Holden. All of our crew, Kamani Morales, John Coleman, our director. Kamani, our producer tonight. Great to be working with those guys. It's been a while for me, and hope you're enjoying the broadcast. It is a 28-3 Buffalo lead. Denley going to bring this one out. He took one back 81 last week against Kent State, but he's not going to take one back that far this time around. 25, and I don't know about you, Malik, but I could eat something right now to warm up. Not for a limited time at Sonic. Get the queso burger for just $3.99. Everyone's favorite melty queso now on a 100% pure beef patty. I'll take 2.
You can have mine. I think I might have to go with a lettuce bun on that one.
A lettuce bun. So Matt McDonald back in, his 3rd career start. Product of the great state of California. This is Andrew Clare. Clare using his speed, but he's tripped up from behind, but a good piece of running nevertheless by Clare. He was dropped there by Abbas.
The one thing you can notice about this Bowling Green offense is that you can see flashes of potential with explosive players and star players. Andrew Clare has been impactful all game, even though it's not reflective of the scoreboard. He's been huge for the momentum and driving this offense down the field.
He just drove him to a first down right there, a pickup of 5, and he's been injured 9 of their last 14 games. But you can, I mean, he came out, like he was shot out of a cannon. He looked very good on that opening possession for Bowling Green.
Absolutely, and that's what they need. They need some passionate runners, some guys that are angry running the football to just impose their will on a defense that's pretty dominant.
McDonald faked to him there, takes a shot, wide open target, and it is caught at the 35 and forced out of bounds about the 33 by Julian Ortega-Jones. You like him, and that's one reason why.
This is great play design. You have a post corner concept, and Matt McDonald read this out just right. Good play action pass. The both corner and the safety took the post, and Julian Ortega fell right underneath, and it was a wide open play. You hit the open guys, and you are successful in offense doing that.
Gain of 27 now. And a little jet move here as they put it in the hands of Jalen Embry, a youngster they like, a true freshman out of Jacksonville, Florida. Came in with 4 carries on 32 yards. And I love when you asked Scott Loeffler, you talked to really both coaches, though, about the state of Florida and getting guys up here in the Midwest. It's pretty unique. You see a lot of Florida guys on both these teams.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see any type of players, especially from Florida, come up to the Midwest and really embrace everything that is involved. I mean, you got the 4 seasons. Those are something that guys only think is a building on vacation that you go to. But when you got guys coming up and the commitment to Buffalo, especially coming to New York, that's something special that this program is built on. You know, they're still new to winning. This is not a winningest program of all time. This is a program that is relatively fresh on winning, so recruiting plays a huge part of it, and for them to recruit Florida like they do, well, you see the results that come out of that.
Yep, that was Noah Massey on the catch there prior to that run there by Denley, and recruiting philosophy. And I mean, it's great to have those guys from the South and Florida and Texas and those states, but the big thing that Loeffler talked about, he felt, and it was a Dave Clawson model, who's been at Wake Forest since leaving here. He said, we've got to recruit in that 4-hour window as well, 75%. But to what we were talking about, you need to go to those football hotbeds like Florida, Texas, California to find guys.
Absolutely.
McDonald into the end zone, and that one is picked off, intercepted in the end zone, taken away by Marcus Fuqua.
Way to fight for the ball. McDonald a little shaken up on the play, but this play is definitely preventable with better mechanics from McDonald. He takes the right read, and he was a little rushed, but he's got to be able to put that ball ahead of his receiver. But him being pressured forced him to get the ball out a little earlier. But with better mechanics, with the hitch in his throw, if he was able to clean that up, he can put the ball in a better position for the receiver to make a play. Now, the receiver has to do a better job of not falling with depth off of the route. I mean, he's running like, it looks like a post route, and he allowed the defender to undercut him, as what we call a jet stream in football terminology. But for them to not be able to finish this drive just speaks to execution. Like we said in the beginning of the game, they got to execute on these drives.
Third interception McDonald has thrown this season, and Buffalo goes right back to work. Kevin Marks in the backfield, but on first down, they find Trevor Wilson. And Buffalo in the third, I touched on this at the outset, but yeah, they've been absolute bullies, just punching people in the mouth. 49 points, they haven't given up a point yet.
I wonder what's in those halftime Gatorades for them to be able to come out and be so dominant in the second half. First half, they started a little slow, but that second half, when they come out, they definitely show that they live up to the side of the logo on their helmet. They definitely come out and are bulls and are bullies when it comes to offense.
Here's one for you. Maybe it's Red Bull, not Gatorade.
Oh, yeah, I like that, too.
Patterson in the game with Marks as well, and Patterson breaks away over midfield. Patterson's got one to beat. Can he do it? Stiff arm, and he's forced out of bounds. Jared Patterson, a monster run. Davion Daniels saved the touchdown to set up first and goal, gain of 67.
And Buffalo hasn't done any different than all game. They slide a tight end to the edge, and they run these outside zones and let Jared Patterson be in the size he is, crease. But the thing about him is he doesn't wear down. He can go for 4 quarters straight at full speed with full energy. Last drive, he had 7 carries. This drive, he's coming back at it. I mean, this guy is a workhorse and the true glue to this explosive offense.
So 226 and 3 touchdowns.
He's trying to beat that record.
He is trying to beat it. You're not kidding. This time it's Kevin Marks, twisted down to the ground there by the safety Anderson, making the tackle, gain of 3. So Patterson last year at 298 when these two met. He scored 9 touchdowns in 7 quarters of football against Bowling Green the last 2 years.
For any recruit, if you want to be featured, this is the kind of offense as a running back you want to be featured in. It doesn't really matter about the name, but if they're giving you the ball like they give Jared and Kevin Marks the football as a recruit, I'm going there.
Yeah.
I want to get some of that action as well.
Over 300 yards on the ground. Van Treese going to take one in himself. He followed Marks in. And Kyle Van Treese, he camps the drive off with his legs. Not bad for a former punter.
Oh yeah, Kyle Van Treese was definitely motivated, wanted to get in on some of that run game action. He was tired of handing it off all the time and was like, you know what? I'm calling my own number on this one. Let me just follow the shifty guy and Kevin Marks.
That's
Kevin
right.
almost didn't know what to do. He didn't know if Kyle was going to follow him or not.
Who's pushing me?
But it just shows, I mean, when you got an offensive line like that, everybody can get in the Congo line and usher their way into the end zone.
So 5-yard touchdown, 8th of his career on the ground, 2nd this season. In the opener, he had a 4-yard TD run at Northern Illinois. Injured player for Bowling Green, defensive end Roland Walder. He hobbles off with 1:10 remaining here in quarter number 3.
And this is where Buffalo becomes the dominant force that we see in the MAC as well as the countries, because they can wear on teams.
Oh, yeah.
And to the point where you got guys on the other side getting a little nicked up and injured here and there, but this Buffalo team has stayed resilient, and they're also very, very tough.
So here is Alex McNulty, the senior, product of McQuaid Jesuit High School in Rochester, New York. He's been absolutely perfect on point afters. Hopefully I didn't jinx him here, because that's all he's kicked. They haven't attempted a field goal in 3 games now.
Oh man, I feel like McNulty is very, very happy being able to kick the easy ones and not having the pressure of kicking the harder ones. With offenses that scoring, what are they, 10 for 10 in the red zone?
Yeah, they're right there, and it's time to take a look at our Servpro first responder, and you gotta turn to number 26. 226 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns, Malik.
He's a guy that really gives me the vibes of a Frank Gore. Very durable. He's gonna be in every situation possible to make plays for his team, and he's doing it on a nightly basis. Every week, he's out there making impact plays for this offense so everybody else can eat as well. I mean, this is a guy that's a very special, talented player. We're going to be seeing him on Sundays, but for him to finish these last games is something that, you know, there's going to be a lot more people in the stands the next time he's playing on another level.
I mean, look at what he's done against Bowling Green. I mean, that's mind-boggling.
Yeah, you can't draw it up better than that.
No.
Shout out to the offensive line. I know he's taking the offensive line out to Texas Roadhouse dinners every other Friday, because you're going to have to. There's no way in the world you can put up 11 touchdowns and 600-plus yards on 64 carries. That's something that is, wow. I don't think I can even do that.
Yeah, so Patterson has 226, as I mentioned, on the ground. Bowling Green has 261 of total offense. Just a dominating performance by Buffalo here tonight. They came in averaging 45 points a game. Still with a quarter left. McNulty sends it deep. Denley back there, see if he can make a play in the return game for Bowling Green. And he's tripped up just over the 20, about the 22-yard line. They take him down there. Coming up next, join the Inside College Football crew. They keep you updated on everything happening around the nation in college football and deliver the top headlines of the day right here on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports Network. Adam Zucker's got the gang ready to roll in New York. Texting a little bit with Adam at the half, and man, that half was over quick, Benny. Said it sure was. So you got 1:06 remaining here in the third quarter. All Buffalo 35-3. Andrew Clare, he's going to get the football here for Bowling Green. One thing that Scott Loeffler wants to be able to do once he gets the personnel in here and just continues to try to rebuild is flat out run the ball. I mean, he did go to Michigan. He played at Michigan. That's always been a staple of Michigan over the years, and it certainly was under Lloyd Carr and going back even to Bo Schembechler.
When you're playing in the Midwest or even the MAC conference, running the ball is at a premium because it's going to get cold out here. I mean, we're experiencing a little bit of that. And
you're not cold, are you?
I mean, you know, I'm not too far removed from playing, but I'm also a lot better in a suit where I can at least get a little bit more warm.
They're warm.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you see the fans, they're bundled up. Doesn't have to, the wind definitely takes the excitement out of a lot of things, but these are true fans right here. I tell you what, for them to come out and support this Bowling Green team that really wants to do really well.
So 3rd and inches, and that's going to be it for the third quarter. They're going to let the time wind down. So we'll see what Scott Loeffler's crew can do when we come back to begin the fourth and final quarter as Buffalo trying to make it 3-0 and well on their way here, up 35-3 after 3. 27 carries, 226 and 3 touchdowns tonight. Jaret Patterson has just terrorized Bowling Green the last couple of years.
Oh man, it's not too much you can say more about such a guy like Jaret Patterson. If he had a Fitbit, I'm sure he would have recorded all of his steps in these last 2 games, because he's the running man. Everywhere he wants to go, anything that he wants to do is available to him.
Yep.
And that's the type of talent that he has. And I don't even think it's just the Bowling Green defense. This is anybody he's played, and he's been able to show just how special he really is.
9 touchdowns in his last 2 games, 6 last year in Buffalo. A hat trick tonight for him. He may be done for the night.
Yeah, if I'm Jaret, I feel really good about the production tonight. And then that's the best thing about this team, is that he can take a seat back and let Kevin Marks finish this game and pad those numbers on his side as well.
Falcons picked up that 3rd and short there. McDonald comes out throwing. That one deflected and unable to connect there with Tyrone Broden. It was deflected away by Isaiah King.
This Buffalo defense starting to be a little more active. They're getting their hands on the football. Last week, they was in competition with the offense on who can score the most points. So this week, you can see them gearing up, revving up, having more energy flying around, and it's going to make it a lot more hectic for this Bowling Green offense to continue to move the ball down the field.
Yeah, on the screen there, you see that. I was just going to reference that. Week 1 against Northern Illinois, 3 defensive touchdowns. First time they've done that since 2015 at FAU. Here's Andrew Clare. Good run out of him. No quitting him. So we saw last week. You watched the game back. He had 11 yards on the carry. They didn't quit. In the end, Bowling Green continued to play.
Just a nice jump cut, and this is what the Bowling Green offense is really missing. A fast twitch guy, a guy that can make guys miss in space, and as well as eat up yards after contact. That's what Andrew Clare has been doing the best, is being able to have yards after contact.
Good night for him. 14 carries, 85. Here's Denley. Bryson Denley does a little bit of everything for this Bowling Green team, and trying to contribute however he can. Last year was 1st with 544 rush yards, 3rd receiving yardage, 267. He was one of 9 in the country that had at least 250 yards rushing, receiving, and returning. So he's a hybrid guy that can do a little bit of everything. They're going to give him a run here, and he's going to pick up the 1st down. We haven't seen much of Terrion Stewart here in the second half, and we haven't seen him at all in the second half.
Yeah, well, Bowling Green hasn't had the ball that many times either. So, you know, when you have such a solid running back in Andrew Clare, you want to be able to get him the ball as much as you can with a struggling offense. And then you have a Denley who, that's what makes football fun. When you can play multiple positions and have an impact and fly around and catch the ball, run the ball, and do different things. Those are the type of players that you need in a rebuilding phase, because you're going to have the ability to put him where you need to make the team even better.
Nice catch there by Julian Ortega-Jones.
Ortega-Jones is the best receiver on this team, and he even, from technical standpoint and route running and everything in between. And you see, when Matt McDonald is throwing footballs like that, and for Julian to come down with passes like that, just shows their chemistry, because some of those knuckleballs are hard to catch, let me tell you.
Timeout taken by Bowling Green. 12:55 to play in this one. All Buffalo will step aside, 2nd and 6 when we come back. A little more than 2 minutes gone by here in the 4th quarter. It's 35-3 Buffalo on top of Bowling Green. And Terry Malone, longtime coach. I mean, he's been all over the place. NFL, Super Bowls, coached at Michigan for an awful long time with Lloyd Carr. And he told us something yesterday. He said to us on the call, he said, guys, can I tell you something here before I say goodbye? And we said, absolutely. And his father-in-law, Tom Colliner, passed away on Monday at the age of 86. He had battled Alzheimer's for 3 years. And Tom played on arguably the greatest team in Bowling Green history in '59, undefeated small college national champs. And this one downfield, there's a flag on the play. And just to finish that thought on Tom Colliner, Terry Malone's wife Ann, that's her father, so near and dear to the program here at Bowling Green and send our thoughts and condolences out to the families. So Javonte Kinsey was the receiver down there for Malone's offensive group. E.J. Brown was on the coverage. On the pass interference call. Stewart back in. We just talked about him before the break there, Malik, and back into the ball game here in the fourth quarter. He had 162 last week here against Kent State in the fourth.
This might be the start of Stewart time.
It could be, you're right.
Come in here and make a big impact like last week.
Stir it up. Fake to him here. McDonald loads, fires down the sideline. It is incomplete. It was right in the hands of Quentin Morris. He was slow to get up.
Oh man, great play design. You got a rail shot up the sideline. McDonald put it right on the money. Ooh. And he wasn't able to come down with it in a tough finish to that hit.
It was Isaiah King that came in on him there and lowered the boom.
Oh man, that's what you want. And these are the things that the head coach of Bowling Green, Scott LaFleur, mentions.
Yep.
You have to be able to execute and finish down the stretch. And this is from a senior at this point. We know that Quentin Morris is reliable, but these just compound the mistakes. You know, the first thing for Bowling Green to start winning is to stop losing. And those are losing plays right there.
Yep. So this will be the 10th play of the drive. Feed Terrion Stewart. Stewart spun around at the 19-yard line. Hit once again. Isaiah King's hitting everything out there.
Oh yeah, these guys are hit, man. They're hitting targets, and the thing I like about Buffalo is that sometimes they're going to go for the wow.
Yep.
They're not going to always wrap you up. They have a fun defense. They're an energetic defense. They're fun to play with. So sometimes they want to make highlights too, like anybody else.
Right. 3rd and 5. Embry was in motion. Stewart up the gut. Terrion Stewart puts his head down, and Brown took him down there, but it's a 1st and goal, a gain of 13 for the freshman out of Sandusky, Ohio.
He's not built like a freshman at all. He's built similar to Jared Patterson.
He is, you're right.
And I love the way he's finishing runs. I mean, the score obviously is not in reach right now, but he's running like it's the first quarter, which I love about Terrion Stewart.
Embry in motion again. Stewart, and he can't get away from Wright, 31, who wrapped him up there, and Brown was the first to greet him. So, you know, we talked a lot about Stewart in the first half, and when he was in there, I mean, he's a young man that doesn't really know his parents. He was adopted, brought in. As Scott Loeffler said, the family saved his life. This summer, Stewart pulled 2 kids out of Lake Erie that were drowning and saved their lives. What a story he is, and he gets it again here. Stewart, can he get outside? He does, and takes it in. Terrion Stewart, the payoff. He's wearing number 4. He must be Mr. Fourth Quarter.
That's 100% correct. And this is where he is really flourishing. He's flourishing in the moments where he's going to give his team not only points, but he's going to give them hope and encouragement as they're continuing this.
Yep.
His potential and the ceiling on this guy is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's honestly phenomenal, and I can only be more excited as the years go on for this kid and this program if he's carrying the rock.
And that's exactly part of the building process right there that we've been talking about with Scott Loeffler and the things he wants to see. No quit and Terrion Stewart for the 2nd straight game.
I love how he's finishing those runs. This is Mr. Fourth Quarter making an impact in the fourth quarter. This is what you want to see from improvement on a Bowling Green offense.
35-10 Buffalo after a touchdown run by Terrion Stewart before the break from Bowling Green. Time to go to the marquee in tonight's Geico Difference Makers. And how is this guy not on every marquee?
Mr. Nifty himself finishing and being the glue to an offense that are literally dependent on this guy here. He's the flavor, the glue. He's going to make everything go, and he's having a great job.
And his twin brother, James, what he's done, 9 tackles, 5 solos, and those 2 are twins. It was a package deal. James was a guy that was really heavily recruited, had some opportunities to play at Power 5 schools, but it was very important to both the brothers to stay together and to play together, and it's an awesome story.
Buffalo is known for having some family ties like that, even dating back to the Mack brothers. And their influence
Yeah,
in this
right.
Buffalo program. So, you know, maybe this is the twin brother school or the brothers type of school to come to.
Yeah. First Khalil Mack. His younger brother was there a couple of years ago. And so what do you say we take a little trip down memory lane? Look at these youngsters.
Can't tell them apart, I'll tell you that.
Tough there to tell them apart, yeah.
I can only imagine the type of competitions they had growing up.
You're not kidding. You and I are both only children, so we don't understand that. We got a lot of brothers, but just not blood.
Just not blood, just
Yeah.
a bunch of brothers from different mothers.
That's right. So very cool. Jarrett is the older of the twins. He was born first, and
It's always the oldest is the shortest somehow. Isn't that crazy?
Is that what happens?
I think that's what. It's crazy how that works out like that.
Kevin Marks is now in. You got to figure Jared Patterson's night is done. His team up by 25, and they're going to feed the rock here to Kevin Marks. Kevin Marks had 100 yards in their victory at home last week against Miami. Picks up 5 there, does number 5, and he's had some moments tonight. Patterson stole the show there, but again, if you're just joining us, and these guys are so close, so supportive, and it's part of the reason why Lance Leipold has what he has at Buffalo, because of the continuity, the commitment, the sacrifice that guys make on his football team.
And there's no drop-off between either backs. Either one can go in there and give you the same amount of production and keep the same momentum of the offense going. And for Coach Leipold, that has to be a blessing in disguise in combination where you can also take off the pressure on your quarterback to where he can play more of a game manager role and you can seal a lot of games running this football.
And this won't happen often. Good job by Bowling Green. Again, no quit. 4 guys to the football. Anders one of them. Jerry Roberts in there as well. And what won't happen often is Marks losing yardage is what I meant to say there.
Jerry Roberts, like we said, talked to him this week.
Yep.
He was geared up for this game because this is the style that he likes to play. He's a run defender. He likes fitting in the gaps. And he likes the challenge of playing against 2 superstar backs, not only in this conference, but in the country. These guys are putting up numbers all across the board.
You're right. 3rd down and 8 here. Under 10 to go in the 4th. Marks, he's sidled up there next to Kyle Van Treese. Play clock down to 2, and the snap goes, and Marks has it, and Marks, Bowling Green. Again, that defense, no quitting these guys. They'll get to it in a hurry. Kobe Coleman in there, helping out on the stop, brings up 4th down. The punt group comes on for Buffalo.
And these drives are ever so important. I know the score is not as close as they probably want, but these are the type of drives where they're putting in the effort in the 4th quarter to stop the defense, not just allow them to continue to do what they've been doing all game. And that builds on the rebuilding process of what you want to see if I'm the head coach.
Yep, you're right. So Finnegan's on, just the 2nd time he's punted. 3 games he's punted. This will be his 10th punt. Jake Rogers is back at his own 34-yard line. They come after Finnegan. Short punt, and it goes out of bounds just over the midfield line with 8:49 left here in the 4th. 32-yard punt from Finnegan. We'll come back with Bowling Green on offense right after this.
College football on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Ice Cold Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville. By Tums, goes to work in seconds for fast heartburn relief. And by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Inside of 9 left in this one, and they cap the capacity of 1,500 tonight. Repping the Bowling Green hockey shirt.
Oil fans in the stands tonight. Love to see that.
Yep, storied hockey program they have here at Bowling Green. Jerry York, Boston College coach, winningest coach in the history of the game, coached here back in the day, won a national title here as Embry, left side, and exclusively has been a guy that gets it on those jets.
Oh yeah, he's able to use his speed to get around the edge, and look how he's following his block. Just ride the block all the way out, make the defense chase you from the inside out, and you get what you can get. That's how you get vertical, you move the chains, and now you got some momentum to start driving on offense.
So Bowling Green with 3 more plays, but problem is they're 25 points down for them, but continuing to play hard. They get after the quarterback and take him down. There's a punt.
Oh yeah.
Tyler Lang says, take that.
Tyler Lang coming with some fourth quarter energy, being able to get inside of that tackle and make a play. I mean, you can tell he must have been wanting this sack all game.
Well, this drive began for Bowling Green with their best starting field position of the night. Buffalo has put 3 on the board, sacks that is. 7:45 and counting left in the ballgame. Dumped off to Claire by McDonald. Claire stiff arm, nice job by him. Trying to crawl his way up the sideline. And it's going to bring up a 3rd and long here for Bowling Green. Claire's had a nice return here tonight. Injured player down for Buffalo is Roy Baker, a guy they've really been happy with in a couple games. And Stinger maybe?
It looks like it, or he might have popped it or got one of those quick contusions that, you know, it's cold outside. So you're taking these hits and you're feeling it 10 times harder than you normally would. And nothing is worse when you're hitting the cold ground after playing hard on a play.
Yeah, he was the one that was stiff arm there, product of South Florida, Miami area, 5th-year senior. Brian Borland told us yesterday about Baker, the way he's played. He said simply, he's arrived. And they tend to him now. Let's revisit your keys, Malik, what we had at the start of the game, how they played out.
I'm definitely giving an A to the Buffalo Bulls, mainly because they are the bully. They are the aggressor. They came out and started fast. As you can tell, 321 rushing yards, 143 for the opposite side. I mean, it's just interesting to see how explosive and complete an offense can be. And we didn't even really see a feature too much of Antonio Nunn.
No, not really.
That they could have pulled out of their bag at any time. So I would definitely give them an A on being the bully. And for Bowling Green, their body language has been good for me. I would give them a B on that, mainly because I would give them an A if they were winning, but a B because they're sticking in there. They're making plays in the fourth quarter. They had a fourth quarter drive stop so far, and that's the body language that you want to see as a head coach and being motivated on working on that progression from week to week.
Yep, and doing it the right way as Baker's up. Makes his way off the field, favoring that right arm.
Yeah, those Labrams, man, you can't arm tackle against great backs. They're going to run right through those.
Yep. So get him off and tend to him, the product of South Florida. 6 tackles coming in. They've loved the way he's played. And Scott Loeffler, he was fired up in his press conference a couple of days ago, and he was fired up about they're going to stick to the plan. He said, we're not going to go out and get a bunch of JUCOs and fix this thing in a year because it's not going to fix it.
It's not, and that's super encouraging for the 64 freshmen that are on the team, knowing that their coach is trying to stick around to not only see them develop, but to see the program come back to the place it was in 2015 and 16.
Yeah, so George Wolo drops McDonald, brings up 4th down. They're going to go for it. And Bowling Green without 5 coaches tonight. They're in COVID protocol due to contact tracing. You see them there, and Eric Lewis filling in for a guy you know very well, who you know is watching the game, and he's going to text you if he already hasn't. Brian Van Gorder, who you were with at Notre Dame.
Oh man, Brian Van Gorder, I know he's kicking himself for not being able to come out here, but he's the type of coach that's going to put you in positions to change the game. And that's what I really love that he did for the Notre Dame defense. He gave us opportunities to make plays, and he coached a lot of great players, i.e. Jalen Smith, the starting linebacker for the Cowboys. And I love Coach Van Gorder's scheme because not only is he going to give you a good scheme, he's going to tell you a great story on how he got to it. So I know him and his son Gummy, he was a quarterback with me at Notre Dame. Okay. So not only are they a football family, they're an intense football family for sure.
Well, they convert to the Falcons there on 4th down, a gain of 12 to Presley Moats. Veteran guy, a leader on their team. Here's Denley. Good piece of running out of Bryson Denley there. Good pick up, about 6 on the carry for the product of Texas. 7 career touchdowns. He's rushed 4 times for scores, caught 3 others.
It's a good opportunity for the Bowling Green offense to execute, getting closer to the red zone.
Yep.
This is where you have to punch the ball in. You can't win by playing soccer and kicking a bunch of field goals. You're going to have to be creative enough to find ways to get it to the end zone.
You're right. Denley left side, and I mean, every single snap here for Bowling Green is very, very important. I mean, they're all important. I'm playing 6 games in the conference, but when you're trying to rebuild a program like Scott Loeffler is and the project ahead of him, every single snap matters.
You're evaluating everything. You want to see how the guys are playing throughout the game.
Yep.
It's one thing to make explosive plays, but it's one thing to play the entire 4 quarters. And this is where it counts, because you're not going to win the game, clearly, but you're going to have the coaches that are evaluating you from every play. When you get in those position rooms, they're not going to be nice to you. They're going to point out the flaws because they want this program to be better.
3rd and a yard, and Terrion Stewart, the freshman out of Sandusky, Ohio, picks it up. Has a touchdown here. Their only touchdown of the night came in the 4th. I mean, you got to start calling this kid Mr. 4th quarter. He's wearing number 4. He's been great in the last 2 games in the 4th quarter. I mean, his numbers aren't as eye-popping as last week, 7 for 34, but he's looking good. Here's a pass play, and it is reeled in. Diving for the pylon is Morris, and they signal touchdown. So Quentin Morris, you can be sure they're going to look at this. They look at every scoring play. 21 yards if it stands, and the Falcons stick one in the end zone to make it 35-16.
Great job by Quentin Morris, making up for the drop in the last drive that could have gave him a score. Look at how he's able to finish the run and finish the play. Full speed. He's not going to be afraid of a little guy. Get out the way. Excuse me, sir. I have to score a touchdown. And those are the type of executions that you want to see in the 4th quarter. This is boosting that body language. You got guys excited in a 4th quarter score, even with the score not being what they want. And that's how you finish the play right there.
So from what you're seeing here, you think this is the call on the field was a touchdown. It looked like he was on top of the defensive back there to me when he reached out. We'll see another angle or 2, I'm sure, here. Here we go. So his hand, though, is in the paint.
They might have to look at this one again.
Yep, they are. Hand was in the paint. Back there was Corey Gross, sophomore out of Rochester, New York. So it is under review. Gary Bram is our replay official tonight. Call on the field was touchdown.
This one might be calling back. This just speaks to how frustrating it can be when you're in a rebuilding phase, and when you have great plays and you think that you finish them and you get so close, but you don't get the mark. So this is like playing horseshoes with this offense.
After review,
almost always.
The runner was out of bounds before the ball crossed the goal line. The ball is short, inside the 1, 1st and goal. The clock will start on the ready for play.
There you have the word from Greg Sujak. Gary Bram with a quick review of that one. That hand was clearly in the paint. You see it there on the replay. It's easier to call than it is when it's live. And under center is McDonald. McDonald, Terrion Stewart dives in, his 2nd touchdown in the 4th quarter. He's got 4 touchdowns this season in 3 games now, and they've all come in the 4th. Number 4 doing it again.
This is the potential we're talking about.
Yep.
You want to put a guy like this in to finish all types of short yardage run-ins like this, because he looks like he's around 225 as a true freshman.
Yep.
So that means that he can only get stronger, he can only get better. And just number 4 didn't want too much smoke on this play because the other number 4 was trying to finish it and get into the end zone.
That's right. So Needham on, and Needham off the left upright and through. It's good. So Terrion Stewart, start calling the myth their 4th quarter. He's getting it done. His 2nd touchdown here in the quarter. And the Falcons find the end zone. It's 35-17. Well, the Patterson twins out on the field here for the kickoff coming from Bowling Green. We'll take a peek at the standings in the Mid-American Conference in the East. So Buffalo looking to move to 3-0. Kent State is 2-0. They're playing Akron, and that game's at the half, 35-28. Dustin Crum, he's having a Malik Zaire type night. 17 for 17 for 3 Bills at the half.
Oh yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. It sounds like they're playing 7-on-7 out there. If you're scoring that many points in a half, you got some pretty hot quarterbacks out there playing.
So 63 points. It's the highest scoring first half in a MAC game since 2012, when Miami led Akron 35-28. This one 35-17, 4.5 to play here in the ball game. And Antonio Nunn, I believe, was back there. Lets it go into the end zone. So Buffalo 4.5 to go, and there's none. He had a handful of catches in the first half, but you said it. I mean, when you got the beast going at running back, you just keep feeding them.
The plethora of players that they have on the offensive side for Buffalo. I mean, we haven't even seen the tight end that is so special, impactful in this play. So it just shows you that Konecny has the ability to do what he wants with this offense. And you don't really get to see that too often in the country, where you can run the ball if you want all game, or you can throw it if you want. So having this ability is what makes this team so special and hard to beat when it comes to later games in the season.
So Jaret Patterson back in the game to the left of Kyle Vantrease. He's north of 200 in the game. Patterson takes it. And you're getting 7-8 yards a carry on first down. He picked up 8 there. It's very difficult to do much of anything, and Buffalo going to try and run clock here. Dontrez Brown made the tackle on Patterson.
I love how Patterson has the LeBron philosophy. He knows he's chasing some stats, so he's going to get in there and make the most out of all of them, and that's what he's all about. He's going to play every minute to the last whistle, regardless of score, and those are the type of players you want, the ones that are going to fight to the end, and he's making it happen out here tonight.
Yeah, and I mentioned it on the Bowling Green possession. Like, every snap matters to them. I mean, every snap matters to every team right now. You're playing 6 games in the Mid-American Conference. MAC championship game, of course, will be 7 in a bowl game, so you're going to play 8 games max in the Mid-American Conference. This Buffalo team, I mean, you and I both watch a lot of games. I mean, I'd put this club up against pretty much anybody in the Group of 5. I would. I think they're one of the best teams in the country in the Group of 5, hands down.
They definitely can make a case in being competitive with the Alabamas and the Notre Dames of the world, strictly because their offensive system is simplistic enough to be effective with the superstars that they have on offense. And Konecny, being the offensive coordinator, does such a great job of scheming different designs for the same plays. If you're able to produce up to 500 yards of offense off of 3 or 4 plays just designed differently, that's the type of team that can compete with anybody in the country.
Here's Patterson. They flung him forward for another 2 yards there. It's going to be short of the first down by about 3. And Buffalo, they got a bunch of time off before they face Kent State at home. It's 2-0. Sean Lewis doing an amazing turnaround with their program. Then they're at Ohio, and they close things out on the 12th against Akron.
A game I really want to see Buffalo go up against is a team in Marshall, who also has a really good running attack.
Yeah.
And for both of those teams to be in the same place, I would love to see the battle of the running game in that one.
Yep, for sure. Doc Holliday has got him going. Patterson, 30 carries, 244. He had 298 when they met last season. He had 6 touchdowns. He's got 3 tonight, so he's got the hat trick once again against Bowling Green. Feed him again. Plenty of room, just walks through there. Patterson breaks away. Jaret Patterson trying to find the end zone. He'll outrun everybody, and he finds it.
Mr. Nifty,
57.
Wow, how does he continue to keep going? I mean, he definitely circled this on the calendar because he wanted to outdo his last performance, which is a hard thing to overshadow. But check this play out. It just shows you why he's nifty in the pocket. Look at that, making guys miss in small spaces. For a guy to do that, and then on top of that, he's a hard guy to bring down, just shows that Mr. Nifty is a special running back for a reason. In the 4th quarter, he's still running at full speed, producing points for his team, and that's why this Buffalo offense is who they are.
301 rushing yards for Jaret Patterson tonight. McNulty knocks that one through to make it 42-17 with 2:08 to go, and just impressive. 57 on that touchdown. He had a 67-yard run earlier, not a touchdown, but a run, and here's a look at it.
I mean, just from the start, the jump cut, and then another jump cut through the hole, and then the speed to break away from second-level defenders. I mean, where else are you finding such talent like that guy in Jaret Patterson? I mean, this is the type of stuff that you see on video games or the movies where the storybook running back makes all these plays, but he's doing it in real life against teams that aren't going to make it easy. I mean, they're loading the box. Defenses are scheming against the run. So for him to be able to put up 300 yards, we're not talking about passing yards. We're talking about 300 rushing yards is something that you're not going to find anywhere else in the country, let alone where he's doing it today.
So Jaret and twin brother James are both products of Pilate High School, St. Vincent Pilate High School. And you see what he's done tonight. Not too shabby, but 10 yards a carry. But to finish that thought, they are 2 of 5 players from that high school, and one of the coaches on that staff is former All-MAC linebacker at Buffalo, Justin Winter. So a nice pipeline they've got going there in the great state of Maryland.
Oh yeah, whatever they were feeding those kids down there, they need to continue to feed that pipeline, because clearly there's a relationship that is beneficial on both sides when you come to Buffalo.
McNulty sends one down, and it'll be picked up back there by Terrion Stewart. Almost got a face mask. Oh, and then he is smoked. Kick coverage team. He knocked a couple of his teammates out there. My goodness. What a shot delivered there by Sean Dolak.
And that's what bullies do. When you're playing great defenses, they're going for the strip. So anything to hold you up, and then you're going to have a guy come up and clean up duty, that's toughness. And this is the fourth quarter. They're still making plays. And what a shot delivered right here. You can even hear it. But you're hitting a solid guy in Terrion Stewart, so you're going to have to bring the pain, because I'm sure that they felt that more than he did.
Yep. So McDonald will hand it off here to Denley. Final 2 minutes of this one. Buffalo hits the 40-point mark for a 3rd straight game. And how about this on Jaret Patterson? 10 touchdowns in his last 2 games against Bowling Green. He's the first player to score 9 or more touchdowns in a 2-game span since Kalen Ballage at Arizona State had 9 from 16 to 17 against Texas Tech. He had 8 in one game, 8, and 1 in the other. Just ridiculous numbers.
They might have to put a statue up there with numbers like those compared to anybody else in the country.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
That is incredible. Rodgers goes in motion here. Final 75 seconds of this one. Denley left side. You like to see that if you're Scott Loeffler. It's right now, you got to just hang your hat on the positives you're seeing. There's so many negatives for them, unfortunately, as Rich Miller, the product of Detroit, made the tackle. I mean, it's really the way you got to approach it, right? If you're Scott Loeffler.
It would be a big win tonight if they can finish this game on a score.
Yep.
Just to show that, yeah, we may not have won tonight,
right,
but we won on our team basis. We're coming together as a team.
Yep.
We're feeling more confident that we can put up points. I mean, 17 points compared to what they put up last week is that improvement that they're looking for. And as a head coach of Bowling Green, I will be excited just to see the progression step up against a team that's pretty dominant.
Yep. Terrion Stewart there. When we're done, send it back east to our Inside College Football studio. Adam Zucker and company will take you through what's going on in the world of college football and look ahead to the week that's coming up. This is the start of it.
Oh, yeah.
So Tuesday night action. This one 15 seconds from being a final, and that's going to do it. Bowling Green and Buffalo shake hands. Guys will slap some hands for those that know each other. Lance Leipold there coming out in the blue coat. Buffalo head coach with Scott Loeffler. And Jaret Patterson, 301 yards rushing. 298. You said it, Malik. He wanted that record. He got it on that 57-yard run. He continues to dazzle and impress. A quick thought from you before we say so long, my friend.
Well, this was definitely a matchup of David versus Goliath, but I love the way that Bowling Green fought. We knew what we were expecting from a Buffalo team on offense and defense. They came and did what they were supposed to do, but I was very encouraged watching this Bowling Green team fight against a team that has superstars. I mean, there's superstars across the board.
All right, so let's take a look at the updated MAC standings in the East. The East going tonight. The West teams will play tomorrow, but Buffalo 3-0. Kent State, they're in a real shootout with Akron now, and they're right behind them at 2-0.
Oh yeah, this will be a great finish. Buffalo maybe come on top of this division, but at the end of the day, all these teams are getting better each and every year.
Yep, so that's gonna do it here from Deutsch Perry Stadium, Bowling Green, Ohio. For Malik Zaire, all of our crew, Kamani Morales, our producer, John Coleman, our director, and everyone involved, my name is Ben Holden. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network. 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Let's now get you back to New York. Adam Zucker, Brian Jones, Rick Neuheisel, Randy Cross, and Aaron Taylor in our New York studio for Inside College Football.
Let's go!